This is something that you kind of like doing. It's the preparation before a big holiday party. You know, like getting your cool deck, getting your pool deck, getting your side outdoor kitchen, getting the area around the grill looking nice. So when you have everybody over, you don't look bobo. You're standing out there by your dirty, moldy grill. Don't do that. Call Firehouse Pressure Washing. Clean up that backyard. So on July 4th, when you're setting off your fireworks and partying, you look like, I was almost going to curse there, you look awesome. You look like a big dog.
It's firefighter owned, and Daniel's right. Get your driveway cleaned. Get your house exterior cleaned. Driveway, sidewalks, house exteriors, pavers, patios, and pool decks.
They can soft wash your roof if that's something you want to do. Like, hey, okay, here's an idea. Let's say you're selling your house, right? And you want your pictures to look great. Well, before you have Bart come over and take his HDR photography, get them to get up there and soft clean the roof so it doesn't have those big, what are those brown things that fall on your roof and stain it like turds? I don't even know what it is, but get it clean.
It's all pollen, and it all, and there's algae that
just get it all cleaned, man. And they do it with the real pressure washers, not the little electric one I got in there. They got the real deal.
Yeah, and when you're cleaning a roof, you need a specific pressure washer, a soft wash, and they are professionals. They do it all the time.
They are the official pressure washer of the UCF Knights. They do the entire bounce house. So if you go there and you enjoy UCF football, well, you can thank Firehouse for making it look great.
I know someone hired them recently to do their whole mall complex because, they're commercial as well.
They can seal your pavers and check out that sort of stuff, too, if that's something you're interested in.
Call or text this number, 407-375-7768. That goes directly to a BDM. They can give you a free estimate over the phone.
Best way to do it is to go right to a BDM.
It's super easy, and if you tell them you're a Tom and Dan listener, they'll hook you up. I'm telling you, they're a great company. It's FirehousePressureWashing.com. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Eugene Torres is on the couch. How you doing, Eugene?
Hey, yo. Thank you guys for having me in. I'm a fan of the podcast, by the way, so it was cool to sit in with y'all last week.
Thank you. I just subscribed to your podcast with your brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to build something. That podcast with my brother is... I don't know if you guys have siblings or not.
Yeah.
I'm an only child, so I'm a weirdo.
So me and my brother,
is normal.
Me and my brother, super close. My best friend.
Yeah.
But we all
What's that like? I don't talk to my brothers.
my son, I'm raising my sons, hopefully, like to be this because they are bonded.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it is... we all put on identities for each other. Like, I have the identity when I'm here with you guys. I have the identity with my wife. I have the identity when I'm with my brother. So the whole idea behind the podcast was, even though we're close, there's some things we don't know about each other. So now let's tell the secrets that we don't really know about each other.
Oh, I like that.
Really? What's the age difference?
4 years.
You're the eldest?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest?
I'm the baby of the family.
All right, there you go.
And so with a 4-year difference, it's like because my sons are 14 months apart, so they're real close, like, one grade apart or whatever. But I remember, like, me and my sister are 5 years apart, so right around, like, when I was going into middle school, like, she's still in elementary, like, there's a gap of maturity.
I never had any of that. I can't even relate to any of this.
And then, like, high school and middle school, and then it's like, 2 years in high school makes a huge difference. Like, when someone's a senior or someone's a, sophomore or whatever. So
he used to take me everywhere. Like, he was the brother that was like, yo, we're hanging out, we're playing football, my little brother's here. And don't treat him any different. He's one of us, so, like, hit him. But he was also, like, he took me everywhere. And as coming up in high school, I was a freshman. He graduated the year before I became a freshman. But, like, 7th, 8th grade, like, he had my back. And it was weird how that transitioned, because when I was 17, I became an MMA fighter. And I fought. Yeah, I used
like
to,
on a professional level,
on an amateur level.
Right.
But when I was,
you were taking it seriously. You're taking the classes and learning it.
I'm legit.
Yeah,
like
right
I was. I don't know if y'all are deep in MMA, but I used to go down and train with Matt Hughes at the Hit Squad. Yeah. So, like,
wowie,
there were, like, I was legit.
You're getting into it.
But when I was 17, you couldn't fight. Right? So nobody even knows this that isn't close to me. I had my brother's ID. and I would go up to Iowa to these bars where you could take MMA fights, and you would just sign up on.
You would just go up there and twist up hillbillies.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome!
You didn't know who you were fighting. You were just signing up, and then you would get some drunk to jump in the cage with you.
Twist them up.
It's like,
you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, here's an armbar, bro.
I like some. He's like,
I like that. It's like a scam. It's like white men can't jump in Iowa with MMA.
Yeah.
Some 30-year-old guys fighting a teen.
Yeah, yeah, man.
There's nothing sadder than that.
Yeah.
So, like, they didn't even know I had my first official fight until I was probably 20. I didn't even let because I wasn't really training in high school.
Yeah.
When I got out, I became serious about it. So I didn't tell my coaches I had already had fights. They didn't know. So
well, you're probably not supposed to be doing that, right? Like,
I don't know.
I think they would have probably. I
just wanted to treat it with a little more respect than
Sure.
just being the kid off the streets.
Yeah.
But also, I can kind of remember, being 18, 19, 20. And
we were just talking about this in the lobby,
and I can't imagine like myself being that age and training
being focused
for fights and not fighting because you have so much energy and anger,
testosterone,
and then you're training. You're like, I want to use what I've learned and fight another human.
Yeah. So here's how it pulls back to my brother. Here's how we go full circle. My brother used to protect me when I was younger, but he was out living his life as a young 20-year-old, and I was in high school. And then when I got out about 18 years old, people in the small town I grew up in knew I was a fighter. So whenever my brother got into a mix-up in a bar, he would call me. And I'm like, I'm not even old enough to be in the bar, but I'd pull up and fight these people.
Yeah.
So
what if I have your younger brother whip ass?
Dude, I kicked the dude off my brother's porch one time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like 300 style?
Yeah, just like Spartan kick, like a front team.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Because my brother
You're a thick guy. I can see you doing some damage on people.
My brother had met his girlfriend, who is now his wife of many years.
Okay.
Right? But in small towns, there's a lot of people that don't like who you date or whatever.
What small town are we talking, by the way?
Central Illinois, a place called Taylorville, Illinois.
Okay.
Taylorville, Illinois sounds like a place that would be like Taylorville.
Yeah.
Home of sausage.
It's like,
right?
Nah, man, it's just
Superman
a home of racism.
Yeah, it sounds it sounds super American.
As a Puerto Rican, we were like little Cinnamon Toast Crunch and a bowl of milk there. So like, but it was like, everybody, if you dated somebody and somebody had previously dated them, it was an issue.
Yeah.
So one time, this guy showed up at my brother's house because his boy had been dating my brother's now wife, and he caused an issue. And my brother texted me and said, "Come by the crib real quick." So I came by the crib, and I just walked up the steps, and this guy was here talking, and like he was trying to like, I don't know, patronize my brother, like try to like big dog him.
Yeah.
And I looked at my brother. I go, "This is the one." And he nodded, and I kicked him off the porch.
I
always wanted to kick somebody off a porch.
I'm not that way, no way. And now that I'm a comic, I'm not that way.
But other comics know you've kicked people off of porches like that, though, right?
I try to hide it because as a comedian, you don't want to be the guy that's the tough guy, and I'm not trying to be the tough guy.
Yeah. I feel like in the comedy world, that's how you get shunned. You're
they know.
You're like, go hang out with Rogan.
You know what was?
There's quite a few fighters though that have now turned to comedy.
Yeah. Well, because they saw what Rogan did. And they're like, well, I'll do this too.
I can do it. I can be the guy from news radio.
What was crazy is when I transitioned from MMA to stand up, I was like, okay, maybe this is my hook. Maybe this is my thing. I'm the fighter comedian. And then like 6 months later, Brendan Schaub started doing comedy. And I'm like, well, he was a top 10 heavyweight in the UFC. There goes that hook.
He's Rogan's boy.
So
that's interesting that you just naturally fell into that really young.
Yeah, I was a good athlete.
You still doing it all now for exercise?
Just to train. I try not to get too serious because I have an addictive mindset.
Okay.
So like if I start training, even at 32 now, I'll be like, sign me up. Let me go take a fight real quick. But I can't be doing that.
Interesting. Yeah, Seth has that too. It's like a switch where like if he gets into something and it happened with him in wrestling. He said he got into the wrestling and started doing it so much, and then he started wanting to do the crazier moves, and he's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do it no more.
I can't do that. I can't but my ego wants me to.
But also you're practicing to do something that some people never do, which is like actually fight, because people like you use MMA as like as a way to keep themselves fit and and you train jiu-jitsu or whatever.
That's
striking.
how I fell into comedy.
And so think about like you're using this as your fitness, but you're in the back of your mind. We're like, well, I would eventually like to punch someone. Like I'm just punching a bag.
The goal is to kill somebody eventually.
Like when can I use these skills to test myself against another human that has these same skills? I want to see who's better.
So when did you make the transition to comedy, and how'd it go?
So I made the transition because, like you said, people do this just for fitness. People train MMA just to get in shape. As a young fighter, one way we made extra money was we would train people. So I had this dude come by the gym that wanted me to train him, and I was like, cool. And he told me he was a comedian. And I'd wanted to be a comedian my whole life, but as you could probably expect, not a lot of comedy going on in Taylorville, Illinois.
Sure. epicenter of comedy, Taylorville.
So he goes, yeah, I'm a comedian, come by a show. And I go, okay, I'll come by. And he took me to an open mic, and I watched it, and they were all terrible. Yeah. And I go, you know what? I think I could do this. How do I do it? He goes, sign up on this list, come back next week with 5 minutes. And I came back the next week, and I did it. Now, if I was to look back on that set, I would hate it. I would hate every moment of it. But I actually had the best set of the night in terms of crowd response.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm in. And I just gave up everything and said, you're doing comedy now.
That is a motivator if you want to do something and then you go into the world of that.
I'm not bad at that.
But then everybody's horrible. Or you think you're like, well, because if you went and you saw someone like everybody crush that night, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it would have been intimidating.
Yeah, you would have been like, well, I can't.
Could have been intimidating.
You see, you maybe some local stand-up is just like, Ross shows up to get some reps, and like he's had 10,000 reps already.
He's done it for years.
And, and you get some guys
you've never done it,
and then you're sitting there, you're like, well, I can't do any of this, I'm out, But seeing someone that beginner, and you like, well, I'm as good as that, or I could at least do better than that. It is a motivator.
So how long have you been doing it now?
11 years.
Right on.
Yeah,
man.
I've been doing it the longest I've ever done anything.
That's crazy, though.
So how the hell did you end up in Orlando and then working at Gatorland? Because we were talking about that before.
So I always had family down here. And I was a really good basketball player back in the day. So I used to come down here and stay with my uncle and play AAU basketball down here.
Yeah.
Oh, so I had Orlando was always my second home. I just didn't live here. I would literally get out of school. Soon as school ended, jump on a plane, fly down here and play basketball all summer, and then the day before school, fly back up. So I kind of had that attachment to Orlando already.
You knew it. Yeah. Okay.
And then when my parents moved down here, and I was still up in Springfield, Illinois at the time, living in the hood, and I was like, yo, I gotta move to a bigger city. I gotta go somewhere where I can get comedy really popping. So I flew down here and stayed with my parents for a couple weeks, and then got out on my own.
Why'd they choose Orlando?
They just always wanted to be in Florida. I guess that's where they met. I don't know the hotel, but if you go down I-4 and you see like the hotel with like the sphere on it, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
My dad used to be a cook and my mother was a waitress, and they met each other there.
And that's how they
just stayed together, and then they decided to come back.
Look at that.
So, okay, you're from a small town in Illinois, and you're down here to be a comedian, and you're an MMA fighter, and then where does the Gators come in? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we can do this one. So,
have you ever? I mean, how much experience you had with Gators?
Well,
you came down here.
He's a sportsman. I mean, he's an athlete.
So I don't. That has nothing to do with Gators.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be cocky, right? I don't want to be cocky when I say this, but I fully believe that like anything I want to do, if I put the work in, I can do it. Like, I'm one of those guys that said, yeah, I can do whatever I want to do. Just make sure you're working hard enough. So MMA never scared me because I knew I was training.
I used to think, but it's waning.
I was about to say, what kills that, Eugene? Age.
Yeah, I used to be you, and lately, you and I would say that. We'd say like, "There's nothing we can do," but now I look at the company and I'm like, I don't know.
Now when I see certain things, I'm like, I can't do that. So I'm like, don't even say you can't. I know you want to, and I even want to. I really want to.
I just hang my head in shame,
but I have to live in reality.
So to get the Gators, though, to get to the Gators, man. I used to want to be Steve Irwin. As a kid in the middle of nowhere, I used to just go out into the woods and find snakes, find whatever. And I used to want to be Steve Irwin. Oh. And in Florida, you could do that for minimum wage. So, like...
It's true. Yeah. We tried that a couple of weeks ago.
So, Florida, you could do that for about $7.25 or whatever minimum wage is nowadays. So, I signed up.
You don't need training.
You want to know what it is? You know how I got it? So, I showed up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a performer. I've been doing this for however long. They took me into the arena and said, grab an alligator by the tail and pull him up onto the sand, and if you do it, you get the job. So I just reached in there.
What is that? It's like just the sword and the stone. It's like if you pull the sword out, you're the king of the castle.
I feel like you need to have more training.
No, that's not. Is that legally?
It's easy. They're all they're fat and happy.
Those gators have been laying in a freezer for days.
Some dudes just drinking Miller Lights, just like, yeah, grab the gator, son. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Hey, if you do it, you get the job.
So I grab him, I pull him up, and then usually they take a couple years for you to get onto like training.
They just give you an embroidered shirt and send you on your way.
Yeah,
like,
but
everybody. Okay, Eugene, let's open this all up.
I'm glad that Eugene is ripping. He's literally blowing the cover off of this.
Eugene, hold on. I grabbed gators too. Right?
Mom and Dad exclusive.
I've done it drunk in Gainesville near a lake where I just grabbed the gator.
Are you from Gainesville?
No, from Miami.
Because I was born in Gainesville.
Really?
I was born in Gainesville, 1990, November.
76.
2 months before, 3 months before, they caught the Gainesville Ripper.
What? Yeah, I was reading that.
Yeah, he was our neighbor, bro.
He was your neighbor?
That's how I ended up in Illinois. They arrested the Gainesville Ripper, Danny Rolling, a couple months before I was born. As soon as I was born at Shands Hospital, my parents were like,
Shands.
I was like, yo, we got to get out of here.
Yeah. I was born at Shands because I have an unfortunate body condition. But
I'm a serial killer refugee, dog.
Hold on. So the Gainesville
Ripper...
They
call me the Gainesville Unfortunate.
Was your next door neighbor?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No wonder you had to train to fight. You had to protect yourself from the Ripper.
And then
you weren't his type. It's fine.
Yeah, no.
That's true. Right.
Well,
right.
Also, though,
that guy was a complete nut job.
If all your parents, like, you know,
they just had to get the hell out. That's what I did. Remember when the Xbox murders were in Deltona?
Yeah.
You want to know why I moved? The Xbox murders. Everybody asked me, "Hey Dan, why'd you put your house on the market?" It was almost like I was,
it's either this or Call of Duty, dog.
I was like, I'm out. I was like, I am out of here. This guy killed people and beat them to death with a bat a street over from me. I'm like, I'm out of here.
But statistically, it's like the plane crashes the flight before yours.
It was an irrational decision.
You're like, well, now I feel extra safe because the likelihood of another plane crashing the same day.
Rippers.
Yeah. Like,
the double rippers. Nobody ever gets double rippers.
No, man.
Like you get the ripper, and then the next day you see a moving van.
Yeah, but then you get a copycat killer.
I'm just waiting for his Netflix special.
It's coming.
I need that because I'll talk on it. I'll speak. I'll play.
Show your house.
I'll play him.
No, you don't want that.
So,
you don't want that stain.
Let's talk about how easy it is to catch alligators.
I thought you were going to say how easy it is to catch a serial killer.
No. Just a bit, because everybody, especially in Florida, you know, they make a show out of it. You catch the gator. People are like, oh, wow.
So you're saying it's not that unique.
You put the gator mouth underneath their chin. You do the...
Yeah. So...
It's easy. It's pretty easy.
So you learn how to read them. You learn how their bodies move and stuff. So they're
like women. They're like women.
Yeah.
They like to grab them by the scales.
You know the spots to go to, right? And so it's kind of pretty easy. You just pull them up, and then
they're all fat laughing. All the secrets.
No, and then you can hold
them. They're so full of chicken, you can lay on top of them like Jimmy John.
Oh, I had some close ones. I had some close ones for real.
You get snapped?
No, I stay away from their head whip side to side, but they're not going to bite you backwards.
I never got bit, but we would also wrestle in the rain, and when water hits sand, it almost turned slippery, like you're standing on glass.
Yeah.
And I was wrestling this crazy one.
They call that Florida ice. That's called Florida ice when the rain hits the sand.
I slid underneath the alligator, and his mouth was like wide open on my stomach. And then I slid up underneath it and caught it.
Oh, man.
Good Lord. You could have been a goner.
I had another crazy one we're wrestling, right? And it did a death roll on me.
Oh, no.
And I went back to my jiu-jitsu training because they tell you just open up your legs and let it roll. Nah, I body triangled it, rolled underneath.
His arm. Broke his arm, made him tap out.
Advantage there.
I rolled underneath it, caught its mouth upside down, came back on top.
Oh my God.
Crowd went wild.
Oh, you broke his arm and then you drank a whole bottle of proper 12.
bro,
right in the ring, the whole place.
I had the crowd went nuts. I had like 5 minutes of the show left to do.
Killed the gator right there.
Yeah, I pulled out a knife.
They had to decide. They had to decide. You did thumb up or thumb down. Do you want this? You're stronger than the gator.
I got on the mic. I go, that's the coolest thing you're going to see all day. I have more stuff left in the show that I'm supposed to do, but I'm not going to do it. You guys have a good day.
Yeah, because you just cheated death.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Like, but every once in a while, it's not, and now there's more videos than ever because everybody has.
Can we talk about Gator's arms and how stumpy they are? Gators.
Well, that's how you do it, right?
Break his arms off.
There's more to wrestling, right?
I think we figured out how to protect ourselves against gators. Everybody says run, zigzag, all this kind of garbage. No. Lay still. When he goes to bite, you grab his stubby little arms and twist them off.
Well, you do when you catch them, right?
Yeah.
So if we're going to go catch like one of these dangerous alligators, maybe they bit somebody, maybe it's getting too big at the golf course.
Yeah.
Right.
They send you out, and one guy has to jump on the alligator's head, and then the other guy has to jump on the alligator's back feet and pick him up off the ground. Because if the toes touch the ground, that's when they death roll. So we actually had to do that with a famous alligator. I can't drop the dude's name, but he's got a good following. He's from the Villages. You know who we're talking about. And the news showed up to watch us do this.
Yeah.
So they got us an alligator moving attire, which at Gatorland is a hat. The cowboy hat, cowboy boots, and some chaps.
Because that's what you're supposed to wear.
Here's when I realized, like and not all of them, so I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings out there. All the guys that you get called to catch the gators or whatever, and maybe it's not all of them, but a good amount of them.
What percentage?
They'll catch 99%. They'll catch the gator, right? And the news will come out, the people, whatever, they'll catch it, wrestle it in there, tape its mouth shut. They're always they'll have some kids like, come on, they'll bring the local kids.
You want to touch his snoot? You can touch his snoot. I'll put some electrical tape on there.
By the way, all still alive. They'll load the 13-foot gator in the back of the truck, whatever. Then
Chevy
you ask them, you're like, assume because it's still alive. You're like, oh, are you gonna go release it somewhere? You're like, oh no, they're gonna be killed. And then you're like, well, couldn't you have killed it in the lake and just harvested its corpse? You're like, well, no, we like to put on the show, or like to catch it.
I like to show you that I'm going to save it, and then
they do that. Usually they euthanize them for sure.
Well, there's no way. I mean,
I like to kill it when I'm at home alone.
I don't know if this is a news flash to anybody, but gators are not endangered anymore. There are plenty of them.
Over 2 million in the state of Florida.
I mean, almost to the point where they have to do the hunting season just to control the numbers. It's like it's insane how many gators. They are not endangered. I don't think they need to be necessarily protected.
How long did you do that for?
I did it for about a year. I was like the fastest moving up in like terms of wrestling in that company, just because they had people leave. And they needed wrestlers, and I go, I can do this. Just let me go. And then they let me go. When we caught that alligator, though, the one at the golf course, you got the guy on the front, me on the back.
Yeah.
They cropped the entire alligator out of the shot when they aired it on the news. So I'm just sitting behind this dude.
People get triggered. They get very upset.
But I'm just sitting like nuts to butt behind this guy. And it's just me, like, it looks like we're riding a motorcycle together. We're dressed up like cowboys.
I love that. 2 cowboys riding a motorcycle. I love that. You know who I want to see wrestle an alligator? Jelly Roll.
I love Jelly Roll.
Country Music's Jelly Roll. Now he's Country Music's Jelly Roll. I want to see Country Music's Jelly Roll wrestle an alligator.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
who wins?
As long as his leverage is correct. The problem is that you fall over to the side and then
don't fall, Jelly. Oh, God, he fell.
It's like the old...
Jelly, get up.
I'm sure Eugene saw...
Oh, my God, he's biting and he has a lot of necklaces on. You got to take your necklaces off, Jelly. Oh, he got to do his necklaces and his tapestries. He's got a lot of flowing tapestry. Oh,
he got him in the back of the mullet.
He's twisting your tapestries.
Like the old man at the golf course that me and Daniel watched the video. Everyone the golf towel.
members only jacket, and he wraps it around his hand.
And you're too old man, and you shifted your momentum and you fell to the side, and next thing you know, it's biting your forearm.
I'm doing a new bit on the show called Jelly Roll Versus, and each week I'm going to do it's country music's Jelly Roll versus a new opponent. This week it's alligator.
You know, I love Jelly Roll. I'm a big hip hop head. So like I grew up listening to hip hop.
Yeah, you were telling your brother to listen to some hip hop on your latest show.
Yeah. So I'm a big hip hop kid. It was kind of my escape because I didn't feel like I fit in where I grew up at. Yeah. So I would just tune into hip hop. I remember when Jelly got out of prison and he dropped like a 10-minute freestyle.
Yeah.
And that's when I first recognized him there, and I told somebody, this dude's going to be big. I didn't know he was going to eventually make the transition all the way to country music.
He's mega big. Now he'll be set for life big.
But I called that. I watched him because he was doing music with Tech Nine and Lil White, and I go, this guy's going to be huge. Just wait.
And he is. He just did it a little bit differently than we all thought, but he did it.
We rap at shows. When I'm on tour with Carlos, that's how I got on tour with Carlos. Is like we'll do our shows, and then if you do like a late show or you do like a one-night show, he'll bring me up on stage. We'll do like a Q&A and kind of just riff back and forth, kind of like Jeff Ross and Dave Attell when they do bumping mics.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, all right, throw on a beat. Eugene's going to rap. And then I'll just rap on stage for these people.
That's cool, man. Very cool.
Jelly Roll is the nicest man in the world. Like when we interviewed him one time, he came in and super nice.
Sweetheart.
I hope he can, control his way. He got big, and he's been big, and I feel like I hope that he can.
He's going to get that Ozempic. It's fine.
Yeah, get the Ozempic.
But it won't be the same.
I learned something.
No, it'll be the same.
Tiny Jelly Roll. We'll all be like, I don't know.
Yeah, jelly tart over here.
I liked it when he had the tapestries.
Only because I like him and I want to live a long life and be, happy.
He's the one who taught me if you're going to drink tequila because that's the healthiest of all the liquors.
It is the healthiest of all the liquors.
So before we leave, Eugene, I want to talk to you about the Super Bowl commercial you were in. How did that happen?
So I have an agent down here, and long story boring. I was just went to an audition, and they had brought me into the audition, and it was like a group audition. So they had me with 2-3 other people, and I like to take a risk during auditions. So what they had
is an alligator out, didn't you? Here it is. Let's go.
It's like, here's an iguana. No, I just started eating iguana like Latinos do in the South.
Do it.
And no, they had a bunch of food there, but it was like all like wrapped up and closed. And I was with 2 people, a guy and a girl, and they kind of took me out of this scene. They kind of like turned to each other. So I'm like left alone, and we're supposed to be improv in a
alliance.
scene.
They had an alliance.
But I saw the casting director. Eating a gyro, and I was like, all right. I go, hey, I'm actually hungry. None of this food is open. Do you mind if I can get a bite of that? And she goes, you want some of this? And I walked over and I took part of her food and I brought it back to the camera where we're doing the audition. And I just started eating some of her French fries that she had on this plate. And before I even got home, she called me and goes, hey, you got the audition. I mean, you got the role. We're going to bring you in for this Super Bowl commercial. I didn't know it was a Super Bowl commercial at the time, though. I just thought it was a NASCAR commercial. And then we get to where they're recording us or they're going to film it.
Yeah.
And James Vanderbeek walks in.
What?
You met James
Vanderbeek? My wife would literally go nuts now.
James and
although she's more of a pacey gal.
Yeah.
She likes you're a pacey gal?
Still, of course.
Yeah,
what was that Kristen Ritter show? There was the Kristen Ritter? She had a show where James Vanderbeek played James Vanderbeek.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So I was watching that show at the time, so nobody recognized him, but I did. And he walked in, and then like he announced to us that, hey, we're actually doing a Super Bowl commercial. And he's the one who told us.
I'm also the voice of Vampirina's father. He is, yeah. James Vanderbeek does some weird stuff.
He's got like 20 kids, too.
Yeah. And he's also and he looks great. Like, you look at him, you're like, oh my God, look at you, James Vanderbeek. How good do you look?
He blends in, like, to society very easily, yes.
He can be like a normal guy walking by you, or he can be a beautiful human walking by you. He can choose.
Now, every time I see the crying meme of him, I'm like, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Crazy, man. So you were trying to just kind of do something a little wacky.
Just get another commercial, right? And I was like, I've always if you put me in the room, I could take over the room. And it's crazy now because all auditions are self-tapes and you got to stand in front of... And
it's different now, right?
You don't get to really show off your personality, but if you put me in the room, my comedic chops come out. So it's very easy for me to kind of like separate myself from the other actors there. Nowadays it's tough, but yeah, they didn't tell me it was a Super Bowl commercial.
You know, it's a ballsy move, eating the French fries off the casting director's place, because it could go one of two ways.
You can say, you get the hell out of here!
For sure.
Yeah. Like, if you do that to me, I'd be like, well...
Yeah, but
like, did you think that this lady might be like, you know what, get the hell out of here, you monster?
Yeah, you could, but here's the reality of that. So what happens if she says that? I don't get it. Chances are I wasn't going to get it anyway.
So you're playing averages. You're just going for the percentages.
Shoot, baby.
It could be that one thing that sets you apart from everybody else. But you got to be a nice guy, though.
Because it's always a no. Right?
Yeah,
Isn't that what
you get 60, 70, 100 no's before you ever hear a yes in the acting business. So shoot. Let me try it.
Yeah, interesting.
But I feel like human beings have the ability to at least pick up. Now, sometimes, like, I'm sure the Gainesville Ripper, you hear the serial killers that, like, oh, I thought he was seemed like a nice guy to me. The biggest monsters in the world.
I gave some of my French fries at my gyro.
But I feel like for the most part, we could pick up if someone's a good guy, and I'm picking up Eugene's a good guy. Like if I would have you pick up my sons from school, if it was a school,
what are you doing later today? 3 p.m.
And it'd be
we became real close.
Yeah, we're gonna have Eugene Torres pick up your sons, and then swing by and grab my daughter. Why not?
Yeah. I think that
what kind of car you got? Can you fit 3?
I got a Ford F-150, but it's the extended cab, so I got room.
4 booster seats.
I have a 98% chance he's not going to hurt them in any way. Right. There's a 2%, but oh my
reliable.
God. All right, 98. I'll bet on that all day.
Dependable Eugene.
So, Eugene, what's the show you got coming up?
This week I'll be in Palm Coast at Madcaps Comedy Club. I'll be headlining Friday, Saturday. The following week I'm down at the Dania Improv for 2 days with Carlos. And then I'll be back in Cocoa Village headlining a show out there as well.
Very awesome.
Cool. Yeah, if you want to check out show dates, EugeneTorresComedy.com, Eugene Torres Comedy across social media. Other than that, thank you guys for having me.
Oh, man, dude, thanks for being here. Really, really fun. You got a great story.
And any, if you ever have any local shows you want to come in and promote, come by.
Definitely. I'm trying to work on some stuff around here because I'm starting to build a little bit of a following here. I don't like to say fans because that's weird to me.
I've always agreed with that. We say listeners. I think listeners is better.
Like, I was in Bridgeport just before I got here, Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I had people drive 2 hours from New York City to see me.
That's great.
And like, yes, they're fans, but to me, that's more than a fan. That's like...
They just want to support you. Eugene's a good guy. I want to support his career. This is what he wants to do. And again, those are the people that if you get enough of them, like Kevin Hart was able to build
nothing but regulars.
200,000 of them around. You know what I'm saying? That way, and I feel like you grind it out and you get a good fan base or people that want to support you, like supporters.
That's why we rap.
Like a supporter group.
Yeah, it makes sense in soccer. They call them supporters. It makes sense.
That's why we rap, and that's why we do Q&As and stuff after the show, though, because we feel like we owe you something. You paid for the show. Here's the show. But the people who stick around after the show that really care, this is you getting a chance to hang out with your comedians that are now your friends. Yeah. That's how we feel.
Now, again, time will kill that too, Eugene. Then you're like, oh, God, Mike B. again?
Oh, my God. He's kissed me 9 times. He's kissed me 9 times, Sam. And he doesn't remember every time he kisses me. He kisses me and instantly forgets he's kissing me.
But like, it's just 2 old men sitting at the bar.
Your fans, your supporters are the best.
Eventually, you will just be an old man sitting at the bar with Mike B. kissing you. And forgetting he's kissing you.
I've had shows I've had shows with Tom and Dan T-shirts in the crowd. They're the best.
They are. We have the most loyal and awesome listeners. They're so nice. They're so sweet. They're normal.
Yeah.
They're just normal. They're us.
They're fun.
You're either a Tom, a Dan, or a Sam. And hopefully you're a Sam because it's easier.
Well,
I think it's an easy. Well, I can't say that. It's
not easy.
You know what? Either way, it's torture. But pick one and roll.
Eugene, hopefully we'll have you back on the show.
We'd love to, man. Would love to. Thank you guys so much.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. On the line with us right now.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that this particular guest has rubbed elbows with more famous musicians? Probably the most.
Yep.
This might be the most famous musician we've ever talked to.
Foreigners bassist Jeff Pilson's on the line. How you doing, Jeff?
Well, I'm doing great, and yes, I have rubbed elbows with the best.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
who's got the ashiest elbows?
You're also, well, you're also part of the best. I mean, to be in Foreigner, to be in Dokken. I mean, like, first of all, like, I knew you from Dokken. Like, before I even knew that you were now and musical director and kind of minding the helm of Foreigner and kind of making sure that all things go well there. I have always been a huge fan of yours from Dokken, and it's just, I don't know, I'm geeking out a little bit to get the chance to talk to you, man.
Well, thank you, and that's very kind, and I don't take that lightly.
Now, Jeff, how and I just saw this and it struck me as how does this happen? But you played the voice of Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat reboot, and how does that even come about?
Well, it was funny. Our daughter was about, I want to say, she was right around 4 years old at the time but before that happened. And what was happening is that a good friend of ours was a voiceover agent. And she had said, "Oh, your daughter, well, let's get her try to do some commercials." She was very cute, and she spoke well. So she made a voiceover demo, and I took her there to do that. And while we were there, the voiceover agent said, "Hey, have you ever done voiceover stuff?" And I said, "Well, actually, I actually am very interested. I actually took a workshop for it in the early 90s because I was interested in it." She said, "Well, let's do something for you." So anyways, she ended up getting me this audition, and I got it. I got the part, wow. And there you go. Unfortunately, she got in a fatal car crash months after that and has passed away. So that was kind of my link to that world, so I never pursued it any further. But It was a great opportunity while it was there. Unfortunately, it had that tragedy kind of surrounding it that kind of discolored it. But yeah, that was a great experience, and I was as shocked as anybody that I got it.
Wow.
I mean, just going over your bio and seeing, not only all the great musical stuff you do, but, and this is something that's very important to me because I try to practice it, but I'm not, in recent times, I haven't been very good at it, is I had no idea that you were into yoga and so into meditation. Like right now, I'm having some difficulties even getting my, I try to meditate every night, but lately it hasn't been working as well. I'm a high anxiety guy. Yeah. When did you first get into like yoga, meditation, and how did you make something like that such an important part of your life?
All right. Well, I got involved. I started doing yoga. Well, it was 43 years ago. I remember it well. No, I'm sorry. It was 45 years ago. I remember it well. I was living with a friend who was at work. I was up at his house, and I was just doing push-ups, regular exercises. I'm 20 years old, so it's, healthy and whatever. And all of a sudden, I fall on the ground, and I can't move. And I literally cannot move for 3 hours until he gets home from work. And he gets home and he finds me on the floor, and I guess I managed to get on my back or something, but I couldn't move. So I decided that day I was going to do something. And I remembered somebody had mentioned to me once that yoga would possibly be something very healthy for me. So I just started reading some books by a guy named Richard Hittleman, who I still think is just absolutely brilliant. And I started doing yoga then and there. Right away, got hooked right away. First, I was doing the postures, and then over time became very interested in the meditation. And I still do it to this day, and I still find that my meditation is what keeps me centered on the road. It allows me to do all the traveling that I do, all the projects that I do.
You do so many projects, man. Like all the different records you've released, and then the Heavy Hitters albums. I was looking at those and listening to them today. And then all the blog posts that you do and writing, and then teaching yoga, and then teaching meditation, and then doing it on Zoom. I mean, you're going, man. I mean,
yeah. Which reminds me, if you are interested in a virtual meditation class with me, go to Hot for Yoga SCV. Santa Clarita Valley. HotForYogaSCV.com, and there you can find the details about how to do the virtual meditation classes. There's also other virtual classes on there, so lots of stuff you can do. Hot Pilates, yoga, Vinyasa yoga, a bunch of things. So it's really worth checking out.
Do you ever get people that are just huge fans of your music that'll sign up for to take one of your meditations and then like at the very end they'll just be like, I'm sorry, but I love the music, like love Foreigner?
No, that hasn't happened. I mean, I think some of the people that have signed up are fans, perhaps, but nobody has tried to exploit the classes for that.
No, that's good. That means they're taking it seriously. That's good.
So, Jeff, what's interesting, we were just talking about meditation and and the fact that I understand
it's a difficult practice.
I understand the possible benefits of it, but I can't commit myself to the discipline of doing it every day. And I understand that it takes a long time to master. But how long would you say that it takes to get good at it and then start seeing results from it? Sorry,
he knows.
He's low on his Adderall.
It's been out for 2 days.
My God.
Yeah, you get results and a resort. So that's kind of true. Well, to answer your question, yeah, you're right. It does take perseverance. But what I find is the best way to get at it is, first of all, you have to try and find a dedicated time. Maybe it's right when you wake up or, 5 minutes before breakfast or whatever. But start with an established period of time and start small. Start easy. Start with 5 minutes. Just say, okay, for 5 minutes, I'm going to let all my thoughts subside. I'm going to slow everything down and I'm just going to concentrate on my breathing and just be here in this moment now. Just doing that for 5 minutes a day. You will find your concentration will improve over time. I can't give you a time amount because it's different for everyone. And it really depends on how much concentration you're able to apply. But over time, it is absolutely proven that will work. And if you're patient and perseverance, you will find results.
And you've applied this. I mean, and again, I just want to mention Foreigner's going to be in town, West Palm and Tampa. You can get your tickets, foreigneronline.com, easiest way to grab your tickets. Please grab those. But this is something you've used over your life, and would you say that this has made you a better bass player, a better musician?
Absolutely. No question about it.
Could you give me an example of how you would use it, or would you maybe set an intent message in your brain of or just getting yourself or your mind in the right space to perform?
It's more like that. Basically, with meditation, all you're trying to do is stop all the distracting thoughts from your awareness. You want to clear your mind. And so with a clear mind, you're able to concentrate better, which means, of course, you're able to play better, sing better, and perform better. So it's just that. It's just making your mind in a better, more conducive state to productivity and to peace of mind.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's the hardest thing for me because I can't see the results like I could with working out or losing weight or whatever.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And so,
the objective is peace of mind. So, that's how you judge it, is how peaceful do I feel when I'm done with it. And that's why you got to give it a little time. But it's better to start with small chunks of time that are regular then okay, I'll do a half an hour, and then a month and a half later, I'll do 10 minutes, and
right.
Kind of 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes every other day, whatever it is, if it's regular. Remember, we are retraining the mind. The mind is like a child, so you have to train it. It's like a wild horse that's been, left out, running around the prairie itself, but you want to bring it into the barn. You slowly feed it hay so that it understands that it's okay to stay in the barn. You slowly do that, and then over time the horse learns, okay, it's cool to be mellow. And that's what we're doing to our mind. It's patience and perseverance, and you can't expect results, but over time, if you feel the peace of mind happening, you'll know that, and that's the proof of result.
Man, you have a great, I would definitely sign up for one of your classes. I love the way you explained that. That was lovely. That was really good.
Hey, Jeff, have you ever seen someone their mind is too wild for it to ever come to the barn? And you're like, this horse is crazy.
I haven't had that many students, so no, I haven't run into somebody like that. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's plenty of people that will never take to meditation, and that's cool. That's their thing. But it's only for those who are attracted to it. People that meditate don't like to preach, so to speak, unless asked about it. So, but if you're interested, then there are places to go to find out about it. If it's something that's not for you, then, okay.
Have you seen, though, as because you're in such a world that's sort of known for, the not healthy stuff, right? Rock and roll is,
and I've done my share of that.
Oh, I'm sure. And have you found that your practices, your flexibility, your yoga, your meditation, and you doing that has maybe naturally, just because, again, you're not going to preach it to people, but have some of your contemporaries seen you doing it and then been inspired to possibly do it for themselves?
I think so, yeah, to mild degrees. I mean, I have a pretty dedicated practice. It's a very important part of my life, both my yoga, the postures, and the meditation. And, nobody's as dedicated as I am, at least in the band or crew, but I think that they've seen me do it and they know the results. And I think they have their own little routines that they do, and that's great.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
Jeff, do you think, I have this theory that because of smartphones and everybody has a device in their pocket, basically everybody, that in the past, before this, I feel like people naturally kind of meditated. They didn't even know they were meditating when they were just sitting on a bus or in a car or when you're on
a tree.
Road trips or whatever, because you didn't have anything to look at. So your brain was left to wander or think about something or concentrate. And now any spare moment we have during the day, we just immediately go to our phone, swipe, and we're just inundated with information and stuff. And I feel like that's probably making our brains sick, right?
I'm not an expert, and I'm certainly not a medical guy, but I would say that there's a very good chance of that. It sure seems logical to me that you're not giving the mind a rest when you just constantly have to feed it stimuli. Because, it's not that we don't get enough stimuli, right? Yeah. We get plenty. So, yeah, I think that's a point. Again, not an expert, but sure seems like logical to me.
Yeah, I mean, because anytime you're our human brains weren't meant to be stimulated every second of the day.
No.
I fall
and it's also artificial, right? It's not even real stimulation.
I fall into the trap of when I wake up in the morning, I grab my phone, and then I'm in the bathroom, I'm
everybody does.
Immediately checking my email and looking at to see if our BDM page had melted down, whatever, and then it's I'm man, I should give my brain a rest here because I think this is I'm causing damage here.
Yep. Well, your words, not mine.
Gotta meditate.
And then I'm trying to teach my kids. I really want to teach them healthy brain habits.
Did you teach your daughter to do all of that? Did she?
Well, actually, our daughter teaches yoga at my wife's yoga studio.
Oh, that's awesome.
My wife has a yoga studio, and she teaches yoga and Pilates. She's not as looking at it seriously for a career. It's just something she did because she was in the household and kind of picked up on it. But yeah, it's part of our family, that's for sure.
That is really cool, man. That is neat.
So, and again, Jeff is doing Foreigner's farewell tour. Is going to be in West Palm and then also Tampa as well.
The Tampa area, foreigneronline.com.
So to talk about that, Jeff, when you do a farewell tour, and I've seen this with other bands, they do a farewell tour and they're like, all right, we'll do it one more time.
One more farewell.
Yeah. And I feel like it's you never play. If people want it, then you always have the option to do some more. But you think this is it?
Well, the current plan is to go to the end of 24 right now. That's sort of what we're looking at.
So it's a long farewell, but it's a farewell.
It's a long farewell, but yeah, which means it's not open. That's not the last time you'll see us in Tampa. I can pretty much guarantee. In fact, I've seen a booking in 2024.
Perfect.
I know we'll be coming back, but yeah, and listen, it's a bittersweet notion. I mean, the band is feeling great right now, But the idea is to go out while we're still on top, and certainly for Kelly Hansen, who has to sing these songs, that's not an easy chore.
No.
He's been doing it for 18 years impeccably. So I can see where he'd like to slow down and not have to do that as much anymore. So I think those are a lot of the considerations. But we're going to miss it. No question about it.
Yeah, I remember when you guys had the residency, right? That was neat. Were you guys one of the first bands to do that?
No, but we're doing 2 residencies next year in Vegas. We're doing one at the beginning of the year, starting at the end of March, like we did last year, and then there's going to be one at the end of next year too. So
that's cool.
Yeah, love those residencies. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, a captive audience, man. Everybody's there, and I feel like the vibe, because it's a party town, I feel like people are there to be entertained. They're not going to have somebody falling asleep. I feel like
it's just an amazing sounding room in there too, which is great.
Well, that's really, really cool. Well, hey, thank you so much for the time today, man. We really appreciate you giving us
guys.
some time.
This has been great. I'm really glad we got to do this.
Yeah, man. Awesome. And we'll see you when you pass through Tampa, okay?
You will see me very soon. All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Take care. Wow, we could talk to a lot of older rock and roll musicians.
Yeah.
And they're all like really sweet.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing it so long. I mean, like saying like
I want a mean old one.
Yeah, I want a mean old man.
He probably doesn't. They probably don't agree to do the interview.
No, they wouldn't.
I want him to agree.
I do want
to get on here and
they got to get the nicest one.
I'll tell you.
Like, what kind of questions are these? You
Peter Funt, when I first saw him, when that image popped up, he's sitting in his kitchen. I was like, the old man from Up is going to yell at It's the old man from Up. He's going to yell at us. Is there a new Up movie coming out?
I don't know.
Oh, well, there's nowhere to go from here.
No,
I'll ask EJ.
No, it's about the dog.
Oh, God. Anyway, all right. We'll see you tomorrow.
It is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. We may see some of you out at Celery City this Saturday around 6:30.
Unspeakable.
We're going to have some drinks, celebrate the life of Luca the Lizard.
Luca the Lizard, who passed away. For those that don't know, we're not making a big deal about it. If you would like to gather with us on Saturday, come see us at what time?
6:30.
6:30. So find us. We're not making a big...
There's a musician that's going to be at Celery City. If he starts around 7,
We have some bagpipes if you want to be there.
No, I couldn't get the bagpipes.
You told me bagpipes.
You confirmed it last week.
Yeah,
I know.
You made me look like a fool.
Then I guess the guy told the old grill man what it was.
Here's what we're finding out.
He screamed the F word.
Well, were you going to pay him?
Here's what we're finding.
Yeah, but he thought it was
the more people that realize that this is a funeral for a lizard, the more people don't want to go. It's just a thing.
I thought that was the reason you did want to go.
I thought that was the hook.
But that is not.
I thought it was the hook. No hook.
I want to see Celery City's complete renovation of their courtyard because I saw.
Not sure it'll be done in time.
Yeah. There's that too.
Well, maybe we could get a deal if I just
I saw it all bulldozed, and I was like,
coffin. We bought our guest. I'm looking at our guest.
We can't bring that anymore.
We bought a 6-inch coffin. A 6-inch coffin.
Where is it? It's
in the office. I had to move
once I saw it, I was
body.
like, we can't even bring this. This is a waste of money. I can't show anybody.
It's just horrifying. Also, Luca's body lays in repose on my desk in 90% alcohol, courtesy.
Oh, Krista got mad at that. She said, "Put him in the ground."
No, that's what I was supposed to do. The taxidermy lady from Weird Job. This is on brand.
Yeah, but she said, "Don't do that."
The taxidermy lady said, if you don't want it to stink like a goddamn S-bomb in your studio, then you need to put him on 90% isopropyl alcohol, and
by the way, this is what they do for humans.
Yeah.
This
I'm
is
doing
what
the same thing.
The morgue is doing. They're putting basically formaldehyde in a human body.
90% isopropyl alcohol.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? We're doing a lot of good bads. We like to take the worst idea that we have and then force it through the hole.
Ted Nugent's on the show.
No, we have his wife, though. We do have his wife.
Sorry.
Couldn't get Ted.
We're doing a weird job.
Yeah, we're doing it. Yeah. Okay, we're doing it. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Sorry, Jennifer.
No, Jennifer's
a hell of an intro.
No, Jennifer goes. Jennifer parties.
Where?
He called it. She parties. Weird Job Wednesday. Cat really likes the tongue.
Can only do jokes.
It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Don't show it to Twitch.
It's a tiny coffin. It is a tiny coffin. I wasn't lying. I don't want people to think I'm a liar. Look at this. It is awesome.
It's ornate. That thing was
glass. It's glass. This is $83.
Yeah, I shouldn't have got the glass top.
You got the glass top. It's a tiny lizard coffin. And people don't think people that listen to this show think we're both stupid. I know that.
Yeah.
And I've reconciled,
well, they should.
I'm good with that. But then I think some people that listen to the show think we lie.
Yeah.
We don't.
Well, now I kind of want them to think we're lying.
No,
then you're like, well, they're only joking.
Look,
who knows what they're saying?
Look at that. Oh,
what is that made for? Why is that made and easy to buy on the internet? First thing to pop it up,
and then it comes with a stick to prop it open for an open casket funeral and a tiny pillow for Luca's head. You bought it. Don't talk to me. All right, I'm putting it away. We're done with it. Moving on. Never talking about it again. Never talking about it again.
So. Jennifer's here. How you doing?
Hey, hello.
What's up?
So, I heard this story and I was like, we got to have Jennifer on to talk about it because it's unique in the fact that I don't know or have ever met anybody that has ever started making their own cleaning products and selling them as, an entrepreneur. And I
dated a girl who was a gypsy. Can I say that?
No.
I dated a girl who was a traveler who would go around to different people's houses and say that the sprayer bottle she had was filled with cleaning products and that it would protect old people's roofs. And she'd get up there and spray their roofs, but it was water, and she was stealing their money and taking advantage of the elderly. Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
So
she was excellent in bed.
Well, speaking of that, I've met a lot of Spanish grandmas in my life.
Say la Fabiola.
No. They mix their own cleaning
they
chemicals.
Make a concoction.
A lot of vinegar is being used or whatever. They swear
organic,
like a malt. Put the malt.
So I've seen that.
It's a 50% malt vinegar, 50% RO water,
but I've
2 squirts lemon juice.
I've never.
Right? The lemon juice is the secret.
And it's a secret.
It's the secret. Everybody knows. It's half malt, half water, lemon.
So, Jennifer, where did this even start? Did it start with you just making your own cleaning supplies, and then they work so well, you're like, I think I have something there?
Well, I cleaned houses for almost 20 years.
Good
and,
Lord.
It's
a hard job, man. Thank you for your service. That is like, no, I mean that. Like, it's like anybody you can say that to anybody. If you've worked hard in your field and done like a great job, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like that is cleaning up after people where they put their butts.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, it's also hard ass work.
Yeah, really
we're talking deep cleaning. It's like, I've never been a deep cleaner. I just pick up stuff and then I squint my eyes and I'm like,
you're a straightener, I'm a wiper. Right? I wipe the surfaces, he straightens. But that's about as far as it goes.
Is that an emotional thing? Because Crystal's a wiper.
Yeah,
Crystal will clean the whole house and be like, I spent 5 hours cleaning. And I'm like, there's still S all over everywhere. And I don't say that out loud. I say it in my head. And then I'm like, what'd you do? And then what she's doing is wiping down all the surfaces.
Yeah. You got to do that first before you do the floors.
Yeah. But I don't like wiping anything.
Then everything's just dirty at your house.
Yeah. But as long as I can't see.
There should be one thing you like.
Germs.
There's one thing you
should be. I don't care about germs.
Okay,
I know you don't. You do have children you should worry about.
To make them tougher.
Yeah, they're so tough.
Yeah.
It's worked so far.
Well, Crystal's wiping all the germs. Anyway, so back to you, Jennifer. So what, you started making your own cleaning chemicals?
I did over the years. I mean, I didn't do it right away. I just, I guess the last couple of years I knew it was time to retire the cleaning.
Okay.
Because it was getting too hard for me. And then...
it's a physical job.
It really, you're doing 4 or 5 houses a day.
I mean, it's like saying a mom is not a job. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like it's probably the most physical. I mean, especially cleaning. If you went to my house, you got 4 floors.
Yeah.
The ladies, God bless them, from Her Majesty Services that do it once a month for us or whatever. I mean, it's crazy. It's vacuum the whole 9. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. So, but I loved it. I mean, you learn a lot about people when
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about
Not
that.
that you
find
want
their
to,
dildos
but you just
hanging out.
You do.
Yeah.
Ew, yeah.
A lot of dildos, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say a lot. I've had some clients.
Yeah. The big veiny ones. Too.
Yeah.
The big rubber flopper.
There's got to be some discretion. Yeah. And you as the, I guess.
Oh my God, have you ever busted anybody like cheating or anything?
Yeah.
No.
Anything scandalous? Tell us the secrets.
Tell us about the floppers.
What if they're listening?
You don't name names.
Trust us.
No,
they're not
I don't
listening.
even
They're not
remember their
listening.
name.
Nobody listens. It's fine.
I was so bad with names, but yeah, one I can't even. I have a guy who had the purple room.
What is that?
The purple
That's when he
room.
likes to tie his balls up.
He had a sex swing in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tie him purple.
Sally.
Yeah.
Don't you that person tell you, Jennifer, like, hey,
I have a sex room. No need to clean.
Yeah. We'll just lock this door, clean everything else. Like,
No.
You can tell by the master
He was proud
lock.
of that room. He was proud of. I should have known when the guy answered his door in his robe. I thought I was like, am I early?
You were a mark. He was trying
What
to
is going on?
get
No,
you.
if you got a purple room, you like robes. Everybody knows.
Oh, so you're going to
Boogie
explain
Nights?
it away?
No, I'm just saying you wear a robe
So
all the
not
time.
all guys that answer the door in a robe want to come on to the cleaning person?
No, I think that you live in a robe.
Okay, all right.
I assume
or
that's
whatever.
what it was. Everything was kept up until my first clean, and then
Yeah.
and you're like, okay,
Right.
whatever.
Did you get to go in the purple room?
I had to clean the purple room.
Oh,
Now
my.
that
But I
in itself
didn't
is a full
clean,
day.
like,
Right. You're not like
But it was a
you're not
little
like
awkward.
taking all the toys and putting them in the
No,
dishwasher.
I wasn't yet.
Yeah. You're not like wiping down the leather. You're just like, I'll just
Yeah, I'm
straighten
just doing a
up,
surface clean, you know.
Yeah.
I
I'll
didn't
hang
touch
the
the
swing
swing.
up. If there are any like panties on the ground, I will kick them into the corners.
Yeah, one day he left photos there.
Oh, that was deliberate.
I was like,
all
yeah.
deliberate. That
I
was
think
a
so,
trail
too.
of breadcrumbs.
That was my last clean. I said, I can't do this anymore.
Oh my God!
I
And
always
you know
used-
what? And we miss you every day that we don't see you around my house.
I always used to say there's three people that know you're a drug addict or an alcoholic in life, and it's you, and it's your cleaning lady and the guy that takes your recycling out. Because you can hide it from everybody else, but you can't hide it from the cleaning lady and the recycling man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jennifer, when you start making cleaning products?
Yeah.
Now I'm not asking you to give away your secrets. I don't know if it's a secret.
11 herbs and spices, man.
But where do you?
She's got like 2 squirts of ammonia, a drop of olive oil.
Is it the expense? Because I would imagine like Big Windex got it.
You're supposed to say that.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like the bigger
Windex,
giant
you don't have to worry about
corporations.
Windex. You don't worry about 409. You got to worry about big 409.
Is it all owned by some parent company like Johnson & Johnson owns a majority? Like
Yeah,
what
they
is
do.
it?
They do.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I just researched a lot of the ingredients that go into it and what's natural and what's regulated, because you got to go through the state, you got to go federally, you got to make sure that, because they'll charge you. They'll charge you for certain things that are in your product.
And it's all poison in there, right? which I'm
Except
fine
for mine.
with.
There's no poison in there.
No, I know.
Right, the big one.
She's here to sell it,
The
bro.
big ones,
The
yes.
big one.
When I'm rubbing suntan lotion on my face, and then Crystal's explaining to me that I'm rubbing poison onto my face,
I rub it into my face.
I tell her, I'm like, well, I assumed it was poison. Like I didn't think it was good for me. Like I'm just doing this.
I mean, it has sun-stopping properties.
The sun.
It has sun-stopping properties. What led me to believe that this was a great concoction?
And then I'm picking my poison, and I feel like the sun may be worse, and it's definitely going to turn my face
Hey,
black.
look at you. Pick your poison.
Anyway, how did you even learn how to start making it? Was
That's
it
a
just
good
trial and
question,
error?
yeah.
Well, my spouse, he's really good with chemistry. So I would talk to him about it, and he would explain, no, that's going to react. I'm like, oh, okay.
Her husband's
We're-
Bill Nye.
That was badass.
Yeah. When you say your husband's good at
he's a
chemistry,
grumpy old man. Bill Nye.
I love him.
Yeah,
I love him even with his grumpiness.
I love him too, but I don't know if I'd want to be married to him.
Does he work for a lab, or is he
No.
Breaking Bad?
No, he's not, not that kind of chemist.
Okay,
Walter
Yeah,
White.
he grows weed for a living for a company. That's what he does. But But
so
yeah,
kind
so he,
of.
Legal.
Yeah, on the Venn diagram, it overlaps a little bit.
It's
Anyways,
not Walter White. It's like
Walter Green.
there
Yeah,
it is.
Walter Green.
So, how would you start, like, even, mixing the chemicals? You know.
Yeah, I just realized what I'd like. I had a vision of what I wanted it to do. So I would create something, and then I would try it. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. I went through great lengths for the essential oils that I use as well, because they're pure, they're natural, they smell good. They're not going to give you the headache that other products do. So,
That's going to be the theme today.
Headaches.
No, seriously, because Ted Nugent's wife's actually coming on to talk about the headaches she was getting from mold.
Yeah.
And having in their house mold remediation and that sort of thing. Yeah, like we don't really give a lot of. I know I don't give a lot of thought about like when we're done cooking. It's my turn to do surfaces.
Yeah.
It's like I always do it. Me and May, we go to the pantry, we open it up, we get out 2 rags and whatever the spray bottle is. Mm-hmm. I mean, my daughter is at she's wielding chemical. I don't know what's in there. I couldn't tell you, is it good for her? Is it bad for her? Is it shortening her life? Is it shortening my life? Is it, I don't know.
I mean, that stuff, it gets to you. Because, I'm thinking over the years I was cleaning, I'm like, what is going into my lungs right now?
Right.
And they're using all these products.
I know what's going into mine. Truly. Truly. Every minute.
Hey, what's in that?
Yeah. It's weed.
Paradise.
Weed. Yeah. My lungs are filled with weed. What's yours?
Yeah.
So if you just like break it down, I guess, to the base chemicals of soap, it's just lye, right? Which is made from animal fat. Oh, and then that. Why? I don't even know the.
Hey, we got a pirate over here.
No, I know it from Fight Club. You steal the fat, you make the soap. But so why? What does lye even do? It breaks down other fat. Like I don't know how it works. Like why does fat work against cleaning?
I had a band director.
Anything. I don't know.
I had a band director one time, and why it was a band director, don't know. It was just the guy telling me the fact. But he told me that soap makes water wetter.
No, you don't know what he's talking
Like
about.
the viscosity.
By like making it, he was like soap makes water wetter, so you're able to like I don't know, move it around more. Never understood what he said. Just remember it.
Like, is it breaking down? Like, there's different types of dirt, where there's actually soil, right? And then you're like, okay, now you got oil-based dirts, right? You've got biological, like viruses, others.
Oh no, wet market. Here we go.
If it's, I'll tell you that I've sat at a Waffle House, had a lady with a dirty rag come wipe the table, like the rag stunk. Yeah, and then she just wiped it around in a circle.
Yeah.
I was like,
get the crumbs off.
I think
it's a crumb rag, it's a crumb rag.
Yeah, but
you don't go to Waffle House for clean tables.
Yeah. And then I'll eat off that table. That's how little I care about any being clean. But
great endorsement for Greenleaf cleaning.
Well, this is not.
Just bring your product with you.
No. But I'm an anomaly. People care about being clean.
People do care about being clean.
My wife is obsessed with it. everybody is. I'm a disgusto.
I'm so glad you finally admitted it.
No, I know myself. How do your cleaning products even work, and why do they work better or equal to the generic Big Windex?
Well, because I made it for one.
Okay,
that's
I like that. I like because I believe in it. It's got me in it. It's got my powers.
That's my picture on it.
Yeah. Does it have your picture?
No, it doesn't.
Oh
no.
my god! I was like, oh my god, that's an egotistical, bold move.
I know.
I like that. You put yourself on there.
Yeah. No, I mean they work. It doesn't leave the streaks. Like if you use the glass cleaner, when you clean your bathroom mirror, you're not going to have all those streaks. It dries quickly, and it really is nice.
You should use
You're gonna
this
want to
in
keep
your
using
porno
it.
shower.
And then the all-purpose cleaner, and then the bathroom.
He has a porno shower.
No,
Yeah.
come on.
You listen, right?
I mean, I heard.
Yeah. I know. Everybody
It's just a picture. It's a avant-garde, black and white.
You have a very modern. And some would say even very like an like a very
expressionist.
Yeah, I was gonna say like espionage, like it's.
So Jennifer, how when you started making this and bottling it, did you start selling it to friends and family first, and then you're like, I can put this on the internet? Like, what's the next? What was the next step?
I created it and just I did send it to family and some friends. I said, please try it out. I want you to let me know what you think. I need an honest opinion because I can only grow better. I need to know.
Yeah.
And so they did, and they gave me their advice, and which they didn't have.
She sent us more of her vinegar.
There's actually no vinegar in it. Okay. You're not going to smell Easter eggs when you use it.
Crystal will put vinegar, and it stinks like a sub shop in here.
What is this crap?
No, I'm saying
your wife uses like an old Louisiana black lady. She cleans everything with
alcohol, vinegar, and water.
Yeah. It's just a mixture, but it stinks.
It does work. It stinks.
Yeah.
No, I mean
Italian BMT.
You got some stains on your marble. Let me get out my vinegar. That's a very old way of cleaning, right?
It is.
So then, how do you market this, Jennifer? As far as is it?
She was trying to do it right now before you executed her.
No, I have a website, greenleafclean.co, and I market it that way. I have
.co?
.co. Drop that in.
The M was $2,000.
The M is slowing us down, man.
They make you pay by They make you pay by the letter now.
Yeah, they make you pay by the letter.
I would have done .c then.
I know.
Why?
Nobody takes you serious if you're a .c.
I didn't even know that was an option.
You got to have a 2-letter ending. Everybody knows you got to have a 2-letter ending.
You do. It makes it better.
Right.
Yeah, so I have that, and I do farmers markets at Stanford.
Okay.
And I have a tent set up there every other weekend, and that's how I market.
You should probably have seen her out there. Your family, aren't you guys the farmers market crew?
You guys come visit.
You guys go. You're always walking around with a bucket of popcorn and looking for beard oil, and
Crystal used to like to take the
picnic.
kids.
You put a blanket out and you sit.
Yeah.
You sit in the heat with your beard oil.
God, the heat.
With your beard oil, you go. This is what you go to the farmers market. You with a blanket with your kids. You put the blanket out, you sit in the heat with the beard oil you just purchased and popcorn.
Yeah. And then you get some sort of dog shampoo.
Yes. Oatmeal dog shampoo. Yeah. You know what they use the oatmeal? I don't know if you know this. It's cooling on the skin. The oatmeal calms your skin down. So I didn't mean to grab my boobs in front of you.
So Jennifer, okay, well, I'm taking on some products from here.
All right.
Got your foaming hand soap.
It's like we do with Hourglass, just a couple squirts in the mouth.
You guys have something of every scent in each box.
So your packaging is really extraordinarily nice, man.
Thank you.
Well done.
Sage Creative.
Yeah, really well done.
Yeah,
it looks great.
You need to maybe hit them up. They got the paper with her company name on it.
Yeah,
they had my vision and they went with it.
Yeah,
and they did a great job.
And again, plug your website where people can find you.
Greenleafclean.co.
There you go, greenleafclean.co.
So, welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
We'll see you at Celery City on Saturday at 6:30.
Just come hang out, have a beer.
Yeah, have a beer. We're doing a celebration of life with Luca.
A little Luca celebration. Nothing big, nothing crazy.
We did book some
I did book a bagpipe player from Pipe in Orlando, which I spent way too much money.
So on the phone with us right now, she's from a show that we've talked about a lot. The history.
This is the most famous person we've ever talked to.
It's because I'm obsessed with the fact that its season finale had the most viewers out of any other season finale, and I think it'll never be broken.
Never,
just because of the amount of people watching.
And we're going to get to talk to somebody who's credited with every single episode, even though I don't know if she was in every single episode, but she is credited as appearing in every single episode of the most iconic television program of all time.
You may know her as Hot Lips Houlihan.
Yeah.
Loretta Swit is on the line. How you doing, Loretta?
I'm very well, thank you so much. Thank you. How is it there in Sunnyville?
Well, it's a little rainy today.
Loretta, it's hot.
Yeah, and we have, believe it or not, Loretta, we have some crazy storms that may or may not form into a hurricane that people are talking
You're
about.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah. So
forgive me. Yes.
No, you're good. We're getting some craziness, but we're used to it.
Yeah, we're used to it, Loretta. We see a storm and we're like,
we're jaded. Yeah,
this again. We just went through it.
But, geez, the storms, you've really been hit this year, it seems to me. I have a girlfriend living right on the waterway in St. Augustine.
Oh, nice.
And so it's been rough. Her beautiful house has been banged around a couple of times. Each time it's restored, it gets hit. It's terrible. So you all must really love it there because nothing is going to change anything. You're just going to stay there no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's
hunker down.
That's sort of what we do. And we appreciate the time today and for you calling in and letting us know that you're going to be in Tampa. You're going to be at the Tampa Bay Comic Convention. You're going to be out there. Now, you have jewelry. Are you releasing new jewelry?
No. Here's the thing.
Okay. All right.
As you know, I have a charity and I have a website.
Sure.
Everybody has a website. Not everybody has a charity.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about the charity. But the items that I do feature are available on the website, which is why I talk about them together. Okay. Having said that, some of the things I have are my art book, which is finishing up its second printing and has done extremely well.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I'm starting work on the second book. I have done, many paintings since the beginning of the first book. So that's going on.
Nice.
I have a perfume. By the way, my tag, my whatever they call it now, is Sweetheart.
I love it.
What do they call it? My brand? My brand.
Yeah, it's your brand. Everybody's got to have a brand. We have a brand. We're the mediocre brand. You have a cooler brand.
Yeah.
You're
I like chocolate. I like chocolate. I like parfait. I like sweet.
There you go.
So, Sweetheart has been my call letters for quite a while now, and so the perfume is also called Sweetheart. Everything is heart oriented.
I love
The bottle is shaped like a heart. So now we come into the jewelry. It's not a huge line. I feature some items that are, again, heart-related.
Sure.
And also with my very own birthstone. So I have heart-shaped jewels hanging from a gold chain. Why it's different is because it doesn't move, and I know a lot of my lady friends love that.
Yeah,
they're tired of trying to pull that pendant to the center, and
Oh yeah, it just gets messed up. Mine does. So. I have one on right now.
Yeah.
I'm serious, and it won't stay. I wear a necklace every day, and it won't stay in the center, and I am constantly fidgeting with it.
What's the pendant? What is the pendant?
The pendant is
gold horn.
It is my dead mother's ashes, Tom, and I'd appreciate it if you'd be a bit more respectful.
No, come on.
Truthfully?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I wear
What a lovely thing.
It is.
Do.
It's a small vial that I...
Loretta, I can't tell if he's lying or not, so I'm
not lying. Why would
he's
you...
a liar.
Wow.
I don't know.
Took a turn, Loretta.
I am not a liar. You're tearing the show apart.
If he's lying, it's a wonderful idea.
Aww.
Somebody should pick up on it.
I am not lying. I am not a liar. Dennis's do not lie, sir. And you are tearing the show apart in front of a Hollywood legend.
Loretta.
Well, my little heart, which again, my birthstone is topaz.
There you go.
And you can color stones, as you know. You can get pink diamond or a yellow diamond. So if you start from scratch, you can color a topaz, green for emerald. So you can actually use my topaz as your foundation and order your birthstone color.
That's really cool.
They're quite beautiful, actually. They're very, very beautiful.
How do you stay busy as you are? I mean, you're always helping the animals. You're always helping the puppies, and I love puppies. Like that's my favorite.
Oh yeah.
And you're all and your website's up to date, and you're always blogging. And then I saw you were in Detroit, and you're all like. So how do you do it? Is it just
what I'm really, really thrilled about is the outreach Cameo provides. I absolutely love getting in front of my camera and talking to people. You know,
she's on Cameo and does the pep talks, and she does like you do everything on Cameo, right?
It's wonderful. We do everything. You get a brief. They ask. People are very inventive too. Some people send me a brief about themselves. I just want to hear from you. Tell me some stories about MASH days, or you know. So. But after a while, I get the feeling that I'm really chatting as opposed to having a one-way conversation because they've written in and said, tell me this or that. And I say, I know you want to know this, so listen up, you know, and I talk about it. And so it's a wonderful idea. So
it's so cool that it seems like you are so genuine and so authentic, but you've been in a place that most people say is very terrible and hard to keep a certain level of being a good human, right? Like you worked in Hollywood, you've been there, you've done it at the highest level, but it also seems that as we talk to you, you still have held on to a lot of the authentic things that are you. How were you able to navigate that and continue to keep, a sense of self and still be a kind person, but also working in a business that's not so savory?
Oh, I'm sorry that's your major impression of the business.
Yeah.
Then it's not correct.
Okay.
The way it's incorrect, people from out of town are surprised that New Yorkers are so gracious and loving.
Sure.
Well, they've been misinformed for the most part. I tell you, if you're going to fall down here on our crooked sidewalks, you are surrounded by New Yorker friends in a nanosecond.
Right.
Somebody has already called for an ambulance. Somebody else is wiping off blood if there is any, and everybody's saying that you're okay, it's okay, we're here, taking care of you. This is the place to have an accident. This is the place you want to fall down. I mean, I am a fall risk, actually, so I have fallen down. Over the years, I've learned how to walk in New York. You have to look ahead and down to see what tracks and the sidewalks are coming.
You got to be prepared.
You got to be prepared. You have to know how to trip, how to land. But anyway, so it's not fair to make that judgment. You know, the word prejudice is prejudge, and unless you know a lot of people in the business and you've been living in California or Hollywood or whatever, you are prejudging. And most of the people in the business I know, like my MASH gang, my family on MASH, are giving, loving, sweet. But Jamie Farr had $1 million golf tournaments. Mike Farrell, his wife used to say he's all closed out. He's helping everybody at everything. Gary Berghoff, an incredible artist. He does such beautiful bird paintings. And again, I had an affair. I had a fundraiser in St. Augustine's.
Okay.
And I called my guys, and of course Mike came, and Jamie came, and Gary came. And you know how much money that means to my charity?
A lot.
The crowd attending will actually bid for a lunch with Mike Farrell, let's say. And so Mike goes and has lunch with these people who have paid money into my charity for the for the privilege, for the pleasure of getting to know him a little bit over the lunch table.
It's really nice of them to do that, right? Like to come in there and help out your charity and crush it for you. And I appreciate you setting me straight. I was talking more about like Hollywood and just like the overall kind of vibe, not so much, not meaning to at all be insulting in any way. I apologize.
Well, he's a liar and he's prejudiced.
That's what I know. I most especially love actors. Actors, for me, and I know you're going to giggle, I really feel that what we do is a noble profession. We reach out.
I agree.
From the stage or through film and try to touch your heart and your feelings, make you laugh and make you cry and get in touch with the goodness that I feel is inherent in our society. So, that's one of the great reasons that Jamie and I love to go to the autograph shows.
That's
and
awesome.
We love Jamie has done over 2,000 cameos.
Wow.
Jeez,
what that means is people are reaching out. They love the guy.
Do you know how many you've done? Do you know how many cameos you've done?
Well, I didn't start as soon as Jamie did. Plus, I'm not nearly as beloved as
yes, you
Klinger.
are. You are. You're very beloved.
Yeah. I've done about 700.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But it changes every day. I do them a lot, so I don't know what I'm up to by now. But I tell you, the ones I most love were people are looking for encouragement or spirit. My most recent cameo really, it was so beautiful. This woman, her husband sent in the brief and bought this for her. She has had a happy marriage, so she's been this beautiful, blushing bride, and they've been married for a long time, very happily. They have 6. She's been a mother 6 times.
Wowie.
And she is now turning 51, and she wants to go into the nursing profession. She wants to. So do you understand how I interpret that? Is this woman is filled with caring and giving and love? And at 51, she says to her husband, "What do you think?"
Yeah, I want to be a servant now. That's hard.
What do I think? I mean, I can't think of anyone more suited to continue on her life. Her life is filled with what she's been doing with her husband, with 6 kids.
She already knows what she's doing. She's already been a nurse. Yeah, she's already set up for it. On-the-job training.
We'll give you a uniform, is all. And you'll get a little more paid to do it. But, I mean, this is a wonderful thing. I was able to say things to her about how wonderful she is. And and the nice thing about this is very often they will write back. The people who bought the cameo will write back and talk about, like I from a child once, from a young daughter said, "I've never seen my dad cry. He was so touched that he started to weep."
Oh.
Well, to hear, I usually end up quoting their kids, and they're learning what their kids think about them. Kids are not often, especially young boys, let's say, they're not often moved to say to Dad, "I love you, Dad," or whatever.
No. That would not be the norm. You're correct.
Right, and I can interpret from their briefs what they're saying, And there's one I'm going to do today, as a matter of fact. It's to an uncle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell, his name is Pat, I'm going to say, I love doing these briefs, and my mom used to call me a chatterbox. I'm very much a people person.
Yeah, I can tell. The fact that you take this much time and effort in your cameos, and I think you're only $150. It's such a value.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna get and she puts this much time in it. She knew that. She knows it's Pat, the uncle.
Uncle Pat.
It's crazy that you know that, and it shows that you actually care about human beings.
Yeah. If it was me, I'd be riding through them at the airport.
The point is this. I am going to tell him that I generally, compose what I'm saying, and I fulfill the brief, and I learn from the brief. But in this particular case, I am not going to change a comma. I'm not even going to punctuate what they wrote in about him, and I'm going to simply read it to him, because this is straight, from the horse's mouth. I'm not making this up.
You're just delivering it.
I want you to listen. Yeah, I want you to listen what they think about you, and just read it. And I think that will be very meaningful to him, that it's not Loretta Swit getting paid to do a cameo to tell me that I'm a wonderful uncle. Oh, yeah. No, that's not what it is. Keep in mind also, most of the proceeds go from my website to my charity.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
The book, for example, the sales of the book, the sales of the perfume, that all goes into doing what I think I do best, which is love animals,
helping the animals.
And
well, you really do a great job, and you've been doing it for such a long time of helping the animals.
I don't know how not to do it. It's like I don't have to think about breathing anymore. It's just in and out. And
save the animals. That's just what you do.
Well, Loretta, I wanted to talk to you about that because you've been an advocate for animal rights for a long time, and I'm curious to how much pushback did you get in like the 70s and 80s just because society was different.
Yeah, but not as nice animals.
Like now,
people weren't really vegetarians back then for the most part.
In 2023, you say, like, I'm an advocate for animal rights, and people are like, oh, okay, me too. I thought that was a law. And so did you get a bunch of pushback in the 70s and 80s?
Just so I'm clear on what pushback means. I've not heard that expression.
Oh,
like criticism, or
like maybe.
Okay. All right, good. This is a very interesting question. Years and years and years ago, when there was the Loretta Swits and the B. Arthurs and the Betty Whites and the Joanne Worleys and all these people I can name, who were fighting for the rights of animals, fighting for the rights for sentient beings all over the planet to not be abused, not be neglected, not be punished for being alive, and so forth. What people eat, why I recommend and advocate eating vegetable or plant sources for food is because I love people and I want them to live forever, and I truly believe that this is a better way to eat and a better way to live. Sure. We are what we eat, and I think animal fat is not good for us. We don't, and most animals don't eat animals, which is something you need to learn from, And okay, so having said that, what really was the thing was fighting the overpopulation, cutting into teaching people how to breed and not to breed, or how to rescue, how to capture and release,
to be responsible,
so that we stop killing these beautiful little things who didn't ask to be born. But if they're running around unspayed, unneutered, they're doing what comes naturally, and they're being punished for it by death. Okay, so having said that, then there are also the people out there looking to have household companions, animal companions. So rather than go to breeding, which again is adding to the population, rather do that than form shelters, clean these little guys up, get them their shots, get them whatever, and place them, have adoptions, so it's all. It became a whole world of, what to do about this, what to help, how to help. Now, how do I, people will say there are so many other causes out there, and they're absolutely true. I mean, I think, for example, children or whatever. I can name a dozen causes that I would support if I had any of me left over. The thing is, when I help an animal, I help a human being animal as well. The guide dogs of Israel, for example.
I'm familiar with the guide dogs of Israel. Yeah, they're
this wonderful, wonderful organization.
Top
raises the puppies, teaches them their craft, their guiding people,
their skills,
and gives them these people who lose their sight or who are born sightless do not have to buy a dog.
Free guide dog of Israel.
We give them. So they're part of my alliance, which is the name of my charity. It's Loretta Swit. It's Sweetheart Animal Alliance, and I have all these alliances, these wonderful people with their projects attached to me. So when I've had a good sale, let's say I sell 15 books today, that a lot of that money is going to go to a needy shelter today. I would, whether it's Vitawe, ASPCA, MSPCA, the Farm Animal Sanctuary, Bird Sanctuary, whatever. Now I'm first vice president at Actors and Others for Animals, which is in California. Joanne Worley, wonderful gal, wonderful president, and so again, so I have this list of friends. The guide dog has joined me. Well, it's about a year now, and we're working on a fundraiser.
Nice.
I painted some paintings of our guide dogs. We will raffle them off or print them out and give them to big donors. So it's a constant thing.
Yeah, you're always working on it.
Yes, in any number of Kauai Humane Society. So it's constant. It's demanding, and it's wonderful because you really have so many success stories to balance out the tragedy of the neglect.
You definitely got to have the good if you've got the bad. And our listeners can see you in Tampa. They're going to be there at the Tampa Bay Comic Convention.
All 3 days.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, July 26th through the 30th.
28th
through the 28th on my glasses. And all 3 days you will be there signing autographs, and you heard it here.
Absolutely.
The money is helping the peepee dogs.
I'll be there with Jamie. We'll be taking photos with all our friends and fans. It's like going to a party. I have to tell you, it's like, it's like one big party. And my people will ask me, is it hard work? It's not work. It's like going to be with friends. And they say these lovely things about you, about the show, about it's not a hard time when somebody comes to your counter and say, I've been loving you all my life.
Yeah, like I've loved you for 50 years and you're my favorite character. Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
It's such a good feeling being loved, and I know you'll get a lot of our listeners there. And hey, thank you so much for the time today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, well, it was my pleasure, and it was fun to visit.
Well, take care of yourself. We'll see you on Cameo, okay?
Oh, you betcha. God bless.
All righty. God bless you, too.
Enjoy the day.
Oh, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye-bye.
That's you. That's what it sounds like.
I have never seen Tom stay quieter for a guest.
Yeah, now he knows how we feel.
That's the most a guest has ever spoken for a segment.
When you go on one of your meme rants, this is how we feel. This is exactly how we feel. Now you know.
I figured out a lot of things.
And that time, and that 23 minutes.
You are Tom Sweat.
Where'd you wander?
I started. I was like,
did you go to space?
I was like,
visit with Dr. Manhattan.
Did you go look for the Titanic?
I was like, this is how Sam feels.
Yes.
Yeah. And you don't put me in there like when you're going on to something like when we were arguing about the meme thing, and I'm like, I'll try to explain the meme thing again.
You're crazy too. you don't.
I know when to end though. I know when to end. I never bring it back around one more time. This guy's the king of bringing it around one more time. He's like,
it's circles.
He literally is arguing with me about something, and he'll be like, you know what? I'm going to do one more pass on Daniel.
I think he did this intentionally because he knows my disdain for MASH, and he's like, I'm going to let this grandma ramble on.
Talking ski boat.
One more lap. One more whip. Whip him good.
I didn't know we were just here, but we're going to go again. And if you fall off, I'll swing back around, pick you up.
Whip you again.
And we'll keep going.
Eat your pups up, put him on the float, whip him again. What was that?
All right. Something else.
It like a monster.
Loretta's coming to get you.
Loretta's
she was sweet. She was great.
Yes, she was. Go see her at
the energy. I hope I have the energy.
I know.
I can't. No,
I think some people are born with that energy.
Yeah. She's good. She's fine. That's a vegetarian. Good Lord.
Yeah, vegan.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Me and Daniel will see you at Celery City tomorrow in their brand new refurbished courtyard.
Yes, we'll see you at Celery City.
And we're going to do... Daniel did book a bagpipe player that will be there.
Ken, the bagpiper from pipeinflorida.com. Yeah. So there's a whole army of pipers waiting to be booked at pipeinflorida.com.
So that's at 6:30.
You need a piper? Who needs a piper?
Then there's some live music after. We're just hanging out.
Yeah. We're just going to go there and have a beer.
And then some weirdo things are happening.
We ebb and flow on whether we're all in or all out. So come and find out what we're doing.
Craig from Pyrospot is here.
Hello. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Good. So,
it's
of course,
the time of year. It's Christmas for Craig.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's Craigsmas.
4th of July is coming up.
You should call it Craigsmas.
Oh, nice.
I will charge you for that.
Pyrospot Longwood is now open currently.
Sir. Go.
And tomorrow.
Get there early, man, to get the good stuff.
Yeah. You do get the good stuff early. We'll talk about that. And June 24th on Saturday, Eustis location and Sanford location in the Seminole Town Center Mall parking lot. That's going to be open on June 24th.
There you go.
And again, like Sam said, get there early because that's where you're going to find not only the best deals, but all the inventory stocked because it goes fast. Now, Craig's regulars get there early.
Could I go to...
They start streaming in the day we open. All the regulars start showing up.
Could I go to Elevate Fun with my family, ride go-karts, eat dinner, and then go to Craig's and then make a day of it?
Yes, you could.
I think I'm going to do that.
That's a full day.
Yeah.
Every year, it's a tradition now that I bring my sons. Craig's seen this.
Yeah.
And then we wander through the aisles.
Yeah. And you've gotten
Pyrospot.
earlier. I want to give you a compliment. You used to go late. You don't. You've learned your lesson, and you try to go earlier now.
Well, because my sons are so slow when they pick out things. They're like, I want one tank. I'm like, come on. Supermarket sweeping.
Just start grabbing it.
Yeah. I'm like, it's fine. The tank of the race car, all of it. Just grab one of everything.
They 100% went from passive observers years ago to active participants.
There you go.
Yeah. Craig saw the evolution of my redneck sons.
Come on, Daddy, let's go. Let's go. Hurry up. And now it's like...
Their hair got a little longer. They're a little scruffier. I love it. A little dirtier.
You get indoctrinated into loving fireworks, and I'm doing it with my sons, and my dad did it with me.
You did it with my daughter, too.
That's what happened with me. My dad, whenever, my earliest memories of fireworks is my dad and I going in Louisiana to Angelo's Fireworks, which is still there.
Hey, it's me, Angelo.
Angelo's Fireworks.
You're not far off. So it's run by his daughter now, still there. And, God, I would go buy fireworks if that
was So, Craig, I can't wait to hear the story because I was told the story.
God, take a drink, dry mouth. Good Lord.
At Ailstone.
What have you been eating, peanuts?
and I couldn't believe it. And I told my wife, Crystal, this story, and she couldn't believe it. She's like, how did that even come about? How'd the government decide that that's a fair way of doing this? Anyway, so... Craig, every year you have to get a permit from is it the county?
It's the city. We're in Longwood. We're at, so. And
you have to get a permit to put your tent in the corner of 434 and 1792.
Yeah, if you're going to set up a tent in Longwood, you had to go and get a permit. And years ago, they had decided that they were only going to issue 2 permits many years ago.
So it was 2 permits, and then how did you get one of those permits? Because I'm sure they were sought after by lots of different
I was the first person who had set up there. So every year we got a permit, and then they decided they were going to do 2, and then another company came in and got a permit, and then the 3rd year there were 3 companies that wanted to get a permit. So there was a certain day that you could show up. The first year, we submitted our information. We got all the paperwork in, and we got a permit. But then I found out that there was a company that did not get a permit because they submitted late. So I, being proactive, I said, okay, when can I get my permit in? They're like, well, on this particular day, we'll accept paperwork. So I was like, okay. So, the next year, that day, we show up at 8 o'clock in the morning. The office opens at 9. to submit our paperwork, and we're there. While we're standing there, a couple other companies show up, representatives, to put their paperwork in. So we get in first, we get the permit, no issues.
Do you bring any fireworks?
No.
Okay. All right. Just wondering if you have a little something on you.
But because Craig, you're a businessman, by witnessing all this, you're like, like this is going to become now whoever gets here first is the one that gets the permit.
Well, this is like there'll be like a lottery for like alligator hunting or what, right?
Like, well, there's eventually where
this is where we're headed. But it sounds like it's getting worse.
Well, I knew about the lottery, and me and Craig have talked about what this evolved into is insane to me. So then you're like, okay, we better get here.
So we get our permit, and I asked, I'm like, oh, this is kind of crazy. And then she's like, well, they've decided this is the best way. So the next year rolls around, and they send out an email, first come, first serve for the permits. The office opens at 9 o'clock, whatever it was. But you can't be on property. You have to be on the sidewalk.
Oh, it's like an Apple iPhone. You have to be outside the millennium.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
You have to be waiting on the sidewalk. You can't be on property until 9 o'clock. Whenever they open the door, then you can bum rush the door.
This is what I did for the first iPhone. I was at the Millennium Mall, and then they opened the doors, and we ran to the Apple store like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
You're not doing this. You're a grown-ass man. You're not doing this.
I'll
do it for you. I'll run.
You have to do it.
Maisie will do it.
Because think about this whole...
we need an army of kids to work for Craig that run fast for the door.
His whole business depends on this
running
permit.
From the sidewalk.
Because without the permit, you can't sell fireworks.
It's really the only thing he needs.
And then you go from revenue to zero. The
reality, I would move out of Longwood. I'd open somewhere else.
Sure.
But at this point, I'd been in business like 7 years.
I like knowing
you
that
build
you're
a
there.
business.
Yes. I'm a regular. We know where you're
come
at.
to that location. So
sure.
So I wonder if they had any other dealings with companies that had to do this, because now they're telling you instructions like you have to start on the sidewalk, and then when we open our doors, the first person in the door.
Yeah, it was. So that's what the letter came out to. You can't be on property. And then I called for clarification. I'm like, well, this is kind of ridiculous. I've been here for 7 years.
Yeah.
If you suddenly decided that you're only going to allow 2 gas stations in Longwood, are you going to tell one of them that he has to close if he doesn't get the permit the following year so a new one can come in? But yeah, they didn't want, the city attorneys are gun shy.
Sir.
So, yeah.
You're like, I don't care, sir. I work for the government.
They were very clear. You cannot be on property. And at 9 o'clock, when they unlock the door, the first one to the door is the first one who gets the permit.
Okay.
So, me being me, I thought, well, look at me. Come on, I'm not going to do this. So I just hired a couple of lineman track guys.
Yeah. Exactly. You got to get yourself. You got to go to the source. Who are the fastest young men in Central Florida?
So did other firework tent owners know this as well? And were you talking to them too?
Yeah,
or no?
I didn't talk to them, but they knew it as well.
Talk to them. Don't share your knowledge.
Sure enough, that day, the morning comes, I'm there, and there's like 4 different companies.
Andrea said she did this for NSYNC tickets.
I don't blame her. It's
And then you bring the high school track team.
Oh, yeah.
Kids,
I was like, here's your paperwork.
So they're running with the paper.
Yeah. I was like,
oh, my God. It's flying everywhere.
We're going to roll it like
it's exactly it. We had it rolled up like a baton.
But is there anybody watching to see if you're actually on the sidewalk, or you just start cheating forward?
There were police. They actually had police there
to verify.
That is God, it was.
They had the Longwood police.
Yes.
And they
don't got much to do with it.
Hold on.
They probably thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
This is where
it's a fireworks race.
No way this happened. So Longwood, it's the morning of it was Monday morning, right?
Yeah, morning of the drawing.
And then Longwood Police is there to verify if everybody starts on the sidewalk.
But the Longwood track team's there as well.
And then you hired a couple kids from the Lyman High track team to represent Pirate Spot, right?
I think that's fantastic.
And then are there just a bunch of other like firework tent.
Bunch of dads,
bunch of old guys holding their paperwork, racing for the door for the number 2 spot.
It's track kids versus boots.
It is no offense to other like fireworks tents, but everybody has been in a Florida fireworks tent and has seen the stereotypical setup. And then who is running the operation? Yeah. I mean, that's why Craig opened PyroSpot, because he saw like, hey, there's an opening in the market for a well-run business fireworks.
The whole
tent.
chat room would like to congratulate you for empowering, giving jobs to young Americans.
Thank you.
Florida.
So then, when did the police take out his revolver and fire?
No.
Yeah, but then the kids thought it was a starter pistol. They
They were there waiting, and at one point, the lady from inside the office opens the door, unlocks the door, and then she opens it, and then it's just a mad dash.
How long of a race are we talking here?
It wasn't far, maybe 35, 40 foot. So not a giant
the
race.
most important 35 feet of your life.
Yeah, it was.
So are all like the Lyman High kids and then the other fireworks owners just lined up on the sidewalk like a starting line?
But the kids are in gates.
We got there early, so they're like a straight shot to the door, but literally along the sidewalk. People are just spread out, ready to make the bolt.
And then are the cops like, all right, here's the deal? Like, because I'm sure
all right, let's get some rules out here.
100%. Somebody came from the office beforehand and said, here's how it's going to work.
When Paula Abdul drops her napkin, you go.
And you're like, this is the government procedure?
Paula Abdul.
Do they just make it up as like?
Look, after being in years in government in Florida, I was like, this is what I expect.
You were like,
after knowing how government works now, I was like, I expect nothing less.
A foot race. A good old foot race.
So did the Lyman High track team blow the doors off the old?
Oh, of course, yeah, their first one there.
No, I know, but so then they're the first one there, and then what? Like that's what years are we talking? Like
it was only 1 year where we did that, because after that year, they decided to go to a lottery. They were like, okay, this has just gotten stupid now.
Well, you shamed them.
Yeah.
I like how they didn't think of it before the foot race.
No. It was just like, the foot race was hella embarrassing, right? And like you watch that happen and you look at it and you're like,
it's a police sergeant there who, by the way, we hire long duty PD
to help you out.
Yeah. So I physically know the guy, and he's standing there shaking his head, going, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen."
Who are these kids you got?
It's crazy. Yeah,
he's not charging.
And then were the other fireworks tent owners saying like, "Oh, Craig cheated. He hired some young."
No. They were mad, but
they probably looked at you and said, "Nice work, Craig." God dang.
Yeah. The funny thing is, most companies, because I have been here a long time and we've built up clientele, and I'm cheaper than all the other ones. So eventually, different companies would come in and get permits, and then they pretty much stopped showing up because I was getting most of the business.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're walking into a place that's, a mile away, mile and a half from mine, and they're twice as much as mine, people turn around and go back to where they've always gone.
Yeah. So there's no even competition. They can't even compete.
Well, it's not even the same. You don't get the same stuff. Like you go to your tent, you get the real. No, but you get the real stuff.
Oh yeah, instead of like 60 items on a table, we got 300 plus SKUs on a rack shelf.
Crazy,
a little different.
And the best, most current, like.
What are your favorites right now?
Oh man! So we have that. I know on Facebook it was blowing up. We got a big new cake. That's one.
Yeah, is that the one Busdecker's talking about?
Yeah, that's the one Busdecker.
Busdecker's obsessed with this new cake. We should just buy it for him and give it to him as a gift.
Where's he gonna set it off?
I don't know. Yeah. He lives in the ghetto. He can set it off.
He just wants someone to invite him over.
They're like, someone's setting off actual
cul-de-sac.
I love Bus. I love Bus a lot. He's like, I think there's not one person here that wouldn't agree that he's a great member of our team, even though now he's like bigwig and Mo's.
He's Mo team.
We should get him the big cake, the big boy, the 7 hundo. What's it called?
So there's a couple of different ones. We have Sneak Attack or Bite of Death or what they're called.
Bite of Death?
Yeah, and they're like $6 or $5.99 BOGO, so they're $300 if you just want one. But you pretty much have to watch the video to appreciate it. You can go to my YouTube channel, PyroSpot Fireworks YouTube, and just search Sneak Attack, and you'll understand. It's one that we don't have very often.
Okay, so you're giving us a clue.
It's at the point now where you could put together a fireworks show personally that rivals Disney World. I mean, like someone that has like maybe been to Disney a couple times.
There's one called Crime Scene.
Watched what you put together through PyroSpot. People would be like just the same. Like,
we sell a ton of these for like weddings and stuff like that, where people want to do fireworks. So it's like a minute and a half.
Ultimate Warrior.
Of great fireworks, you only have to light one thing, right? So a lot easier that way.
Yeah. So, Craig, I know we talk about this.
Vampire Bride.
Each year that 4th of July doesn't fall on a weekend, right? Like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where we're like, what is the day you set off the fireworks?
That's a good question.
Because I'm still a traditionalist, and we're planning on 4th of July on Tuesday, setting off the fireworks.
Yeah.
And
12 midnight.
Now, like, because the way I think about it is, who can complain when it's the actual 4th of July, right?
Yeah, it's like taking off your birthday. It's like, it's your birthday.
But then if you, like, so I feel like someone could complain if it was like Saturday or Sunday, even though that's when all the shows are probably happening. It's just like, you know, if you did it on a Saturday or Sunday.
My wife is already arguing with you. She says, people have to work the next day. I knew she'd say that.
Yeah, but
nerd.
It's the 4th of July, so technically, you know, not only am I going to be doing it, everybody else is going to be, or at least half the people, you know.
So it's weird when it falls on a Tuesday. That's one of the only times where the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are actually about even in sales. Like normally the 3rd and 4th are the Mac Daddy. That's our big days. You know, we double the 1st and 2nd.
Gotcha.
When it's on a Tuesday, it kind of spreads itself out. So you do have people who are doing it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
I like to do it really late Wednesday and obnoxiously late Thursday.
Start at about midnight.
I like to do it 3 a.m. Thursday.
I'm doing my show right at dusk.
It's a show now. It's a show
Daniel
now.
goes.
Well, I do the music now.
Yeah, and
I got sick of making fun of it. So now, remember last year I pulled out my phone and started playing Lee Greenwood.
Nice. And so it's not that late. It's not like I'm keeping neighbors up past their bedtime.
Well, they do hear the things hitting their roofs.
No, yeah.
All over.
That's
all over.
It's it's like hail. It's Florida hail.
Yeah, Florida hail. Exactly.
It
is hillbilly hail.
People expect it at this point.
Hillbilly hail.
So Craig, have you seen an uptick? Because I've started to gravitate towards especially now that my kids are not technically. I'm not saying anybody should do this. I don't know what the rules are, but now they're 8 and 9 years old.
Oh, you got my daughter hooked. She asked about the gun.
Their own. Oh yeah.
My daughter asked, Maisie, she's like, "Is Mr. Tom getting us a gun again?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, a gun again!"
It's the AR sparkler. Or whatever.
A big like fountain that looks like a gun.
Yeah, she held it on her shoulder, and it's just blowing flames in the air.
Yeah. What's the official stance? I'm pretty sure it says "do not hold in hand," but I don't know how you can because
it's shaped like a gun.
Shaped like an AR.
It's made for your hand.
And then like, the sword too.
It's like It's like old Cameron and the banana. It's made for the hand.
Yeah.
The sword was the first one we had, and I held off getting the gun for a couple of years. And now, of course, it's a crazy hot seller.
Yeah. Swords aren't enough.
I try to explain to my wife the physics behind how it can explode because it's not in a tight container, so it would just
catch on fire.
Yeah, it would just catch on fire. It's not gonna, you need pressure for things to explode.
Technically, it's safer than a spark.
It's cold flame.
I just made that up.
Cold sparks.
Just talking.
It's safer than a sparkler, which is one of the reasons that we carry them, because for sparklers, they burn so hot, and it's just a piece of metal that the kids are holding, whereas on this one it's the burning part is a long way away from where they're holding it.
Here's
it's technically a fountain, not a sparkler, so it doesn't burn as hot either.
Here's a tip on the sparklers. If you have a pair of needle nose and can work fast enough, you can use it to brand your wife's vagina.
Come on.
Or like mound. I should say mound.
So, Craig, I know there's 3 locations. What's the biggest problem with having multiple locations? Is it getting maintaining inventory to that from back and forth? You got a warehouse now. I've seen you build your operation.
We need a warehouse. That's how you know you're successful.
Do we?
Yeah, for all of our papers and junk that's in here.
He bought a forklift.
Yeah, look, that's whenever I felt like a man. When I bought a forklift, I felt like a man.
Will you let us drive your forklift?
Of course I will.
I'm forklift certified. I don't know if it still carries on.
You got to get a recertified.
No statute of limitations on that. You get it once or good. It's like my radio degree. I got it. I got a radio license. I'm good to go forever.
Getting the inventory, I mean, it can be an issue, particularly third and fourth and stuff. But honestly, it's these freaking monsoons that we keep having. All the rain is like such a pain.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep it dry. It's fireworks, right?
Yeah, right. Like transporting them, loading them into the truck while it's pouring down rain slows down operations.
Yeah.
Don't get Saddam Hussein's face wet. It won't light.
By the way, we should do a go-to show, and I'll show you guys that I still remember how to operate a forklift.
I believe you.
Oh, that's anytime you'd like. I'll clear out a really big white area.
It'll all come back to me. There's like the wheel.
Yeah, the wheel. I've never driven one.
Yeah. And then
the turning radius is like 0, right? You can
yeah.
And I'll tell you a great story for that. In our warehouse, I had a regular standard forklift, and when we moved into the warehouse we're at now, I had to buy a stand-up forklift because my aisles were going to be a little bit smaller, a little tighter on the shelving. And I had driven a stand-up forklift years ago at Disney. I had
certified.
Learned
Never
how to
goes away.
and I was like, oh, yeah, I know how to drive one of these things. So the first day we get into the warehouse, big empty space, hadn't put any shelving yet. I jump on it, and I'm riding around just to familiarize myself. And then I got a little confused. And now one of our big support poles, there's a nice dent in it day one I slammed into it.
Learning curves.
I did that in Home Depot all the time. They're like, you have to report.
You ran into a propane tank.
No, it was the irrigation or the fire sprinkler system.
You have an issue with sprinklers.
Yeah, that's bad.
But also you ding all the racking and stuff. You ever seen those like videos of
when they all fall?
Yeah, when the people that forklift, like they hit one of the legs of the racks.
I always think there's some grandpa trapped in there.
And then like 10,000 tons of concrete or whatever fall onto the guy, and then the video just stays. And then you're like, well, how long is that guy dead? Yeah. How long did it take
my wife teases me? It's a matter of time before before you're going to be buried under boxes of fireworks.
Oh my God, buried under and then they're all like American flag bikini hooters and you're dead underneath them. Oh my God.
Yeah. How like the fireworks art? Have you seen any
They
change?
Steal everything.
Or any...
Oh, my God. Daniel's exactly right. They steal whatever they can.
They'll put Dwayne Johnson on the side.
It's hilarious.
But it's always like 8 years old, right?
Yeah. So right now we should be coming into, I think, Katy Perry and Backpack Kid. Remember Backpack Kid?
Yeah.
The main company I import through years ago got busted for using one of the memes on there. It was like the little baby meme where he's pointing his finger. So now,
I know that.
They paid out a fortune because they put that on one of their fireworks. So now they're really good about it. But all the other stuff that I see from all these like generic companies that are Disney stuff, like they don't care.
They're playing Frozen.
Every character you can imagine is on those.
And there's like, I'm sure they're like, well, who are we gonna sue? Like, I'm sure like the business is like through some LLC that's in like 5 different countries.
No one knows.
China, they don't care.
You're calling
no one knows. No one knows how it even started. It's just a fireworks factory that no one knows how it started.
They're like, do I call a lawyer in China?
We got a great new fountain this year. It's a big 500-gram fountain called Taco Tuesday, and the box looks like a taco.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because it's like the curved fountain and everything.
Doesn't LeBron James own that or
props
something?
to that one. Whoever came up with that artwork was
he tried to own it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad of the evolution of fountains because, like, sometimes a nice
now everyone can use them.
That's an old man thing to say. I like the evolution of fountains.
No, because sometimes, like, we all want to see because I'm shooting the cake's shooting mortars and we're all looking up.
It can be a little much.
And then sometimes I want to look straight for my show.
Sometimes you want to look straight. Sometimes you want to look straight. And then, sometimes you don't.
And then I feel like because those curved taco fountains.
Oh yeah.
Like, they get. What's the other one? Like Craig every year he's like, yeah.
We have like Exodus. We have like
Exodus,
3 or 4 different ones that they're monsters. When they're at the end of it, the finale, it's like 30-foot wide and 20-foot high of like sparks and crackle. And
is that the one that he had that was like
and crackle?
Oh yeah, you can say.
It was like,
that's the one that Krista was like, help! Like,
that's the one that got the neighbors in Satellite Beach to shut us our fireworks show down. Which, by the way, I still have. I'm not going to have to buy as many fireworks this year because I have
Don't tell that to Craig.
A box of fireworks still.
I saved my fireworks. I won't be buying as much.
Yeah. And then I've got one that I'm like questioning. I don't think I can set it off in my cul-de-sac.
Too big.
Like there's no like.
What do you got?
I start getting away from one neighbor and then I turn around and the other neighbor's too close.
Yeah. What do you got?
And then I can't put it in the
Dark
middle.
Knight Super.
You got a lot of trees in your area there. I've been in your place. It's pretty tight there.
Super Duty frosty mug of beer. What do you got?
That frosty mug of beer is what we got. That's a popular one.
Yeah, that frosty mug of beer is one of his. Is that a cake?
It's a fountain.
A fountain.
Yeah. You know what? I need to talk to a cop.
Scene, double.
Like, how about if you're like, well, my fireworks are too big to set off, and like because
my fireworks are too big to set off.
Well, think about if you don't have a backyard or a big backyard, because the houses are too close, then you're setting off on the street.
Are there any fields near you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What are the? Can you go to a?
Yes, can you go to a public park? A cop may not a public park, but if you go into a field and you shot it off, and a cop may pull up and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" You'd be like, "We're setting off fireworks." They'd be like, "Get the F out of here!" You're like, "All right."
If you're asking if you can trespass to set off fireworks,
you can.
The answer is
that's pretty much
no.
No, I was going to say you can, but just expect to be stopped or shot.
Exactly.
But I feel like that would be if we just adopted.
Why don't we just shoot it off out of a convertible car?
Nice.
Okay, but let's think about this. Like, there's certain things that yes, technically, by the letter of the law, this is illegal. Kind of like my trailer. But we all like my scooter, according to all the listeners. We all just it's kind of like open container law. Yeah. Like we all just look the other way. No one really cares as long as the driver's not drunk. Yeah. Like no one's getting popped for open container unless you got a bunch of rowdy teens in the car.
Yeah. The all my rowdy friends.
Me and Craig are looking at each other. You should probably not do that.
I pretty much keep away from the open container thing.
I'm listening.
Your wife,
unless you're in Louisiana.
Your wife is sober. Well, that's what I'm saying. In Texas, Louisiana, that's not a law.
It's a better way. I did it yesterday.
Well, not driving, but walking.
If I'm sitting? No, we're driving. There's no open container law in Texas. You can
just sit with a beer.
The passenger can sit with a beer as long as the driver's not drinking, which makes total sense, by the way.
Sense. I love it.
Why is it it's not even, it's a ticketable offense, I
think because they're afraid I'm going to give my wife a sip.
Back to fireworks. No, but I think it's just...
Stop. Back to fireworks.
So, we should all just be cool with police and everybody with people finding if they feel like their neighbors are too close, because I feel like the neighbors would like this too. If you find whatever open field is available, parks, schools, whatever, clean up after yourself. But then you find a big field and you set off at a field. You're not bothering as many people.
I got a field over here.
Years and years ago, before I actually started selling fireworks, where I lived, I was in an area right on the edge of the cul-de-sac. And there was not very much room, but we had a neighbor who had a giant open area next to their house. So I actually went and asked him, I'm like, hey, do you mind if we, and he was like, oh, no, free fireworks show, come on down. So that's what we did, is like we went down to the neighbor's place. And people would bring their fireworks and everybody would set them off next to his place.
But, and I think more people would find a more open field if they weren't afraid of getting arrested or like cops being called.
But you're not going to get arrested. Do people actually think that if
get
you
scared of cops?
Yeah, but I don't think. Look, there is a bit of, I guess, privilege I get for being a white dude in Baldwin Park. But I'm just saying, look, I've never felt like maybe you're going to get yelled at. I've been yelled at a bunch of times by cops or whatever. Like, people get the hell out. It's fine. You go, you okay? And then you leave.
The only thing I'll say is wherever you're at, bring a nice big bucket of water just in case.
Be safe. Sure.
You don't want to burn down the field down the street from your place because of
So
but
Craig,
limousines are fine. Why is that cool? Double standard.
Nice.
Right?
You're wrong about the open container law,
she
by the
looked it
way,
up.
Tom.
I'm wrong?
Yeah.
About Texas, yeah. Maybe Louisiana, you're right. I don't know.
No, I thought Texas, when I was a kid, did they change it? You could go, like, when you get to Texas and, like, if you're driving across the country, you could have your passenger open up a beer. That was always, was that an urban legend?
Might have been an urban legend.
Probably.
Like, so.
I mean, look.
Sounds awesome.
In Louisiana, there is an open container law, but it's rarely enforced.
Since he was a child.
I call kid, like, in my early 20s or high school and college.
Say jit.
So is there an open container law in all states?
I believe so.
I don't know.
Again, if it's public transport or if it's a hired driver, like a limousine or something like that, then the passengers can. But other than that, no.
Connecticut's the only one they're saying.
Connecticut.
So, but not open container laws. They're not all created equal. I mean, Louisiana has drive-through daiquiri shacks, and the rule is if they put a piece of tape over the lid and they do not put the straw in,
they let
then
us
it's
do that
not
in
an
Florida
open
for
container.
a little bit during the pandemic. A little bit.
Well, they were. I think they were doing what Tom's saying. I think a lot of bars are being like using the field and being cool, bro. They were like, "Well, I'm giving you this drink, and I'm covering up the straw hole, and you could get in your car and put a straw in it and start drinking it as you drive away, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and beg you not to do that."
So, Craig, if your standard presentation of fireworks, small, medium, and then finale. I know we kind of went over this last time, but I'm going to, in my show this year, Daniel.
Are you going to daisy chain them together finally?
No, I'm going to rotate back from like what you think is a finale, then back to medium again for 2 beats, and then the real finale.
Yeah, surprise ending. There you go.
You're going to do a fake ending within a mega encore.
Exactly.
I love this.
I've been building this because I've been doing it wrong where after the finale, people are so excited that they're like, oh, that was it. They get disappointed.
I love it.
But then it's kind of...
And you're going to love the music I picked up. It's all Kanye and all Morgan Wallen. Back to back.
Anyway, so Pyro Spot Fireworks, it's where I go and we all go to get our fireworks.
It's the only place to get fireworks. iwantfireworks.com is the website if you want to check it out. I'm on their YouTube right now. You can go on there and check out just about everything they have.
I will say as well, if you check it out, if you go to iwantfireworks.com, you can see we now have an online store. Where you can order limited items. We didn't put everything up there. We've got packages and stuff like that. You can order for pickup at our Longwood warehouse, or we actually do delivery, like a 18-mile radius from downtown Orlando for $25.
That's awesome.
So we will be shutting that off, though, like June 1st.
That's pretty popular.
Or July 1st.
July 1st.
And we've got some Tom and Dan specials.
So if they wanted that, though, do it now.
Yeah.
So
we have orders that started coming in a week ago.
Look, if you make good money and you got the correct change and you want to throw all your money at it and just order the package and for $25 get it delivered, which I think is the smartest thing to do if you're busy, then iwantfireworks.com. Check it out, but get on it early because it will go away.
We've got the Tom and Dan Bad at Life kit. We've got Bye Bye Fingers, and we got the Neighbor Hater.
Neighbor
that's
Hater.
Well, that's the one that
the
neighbors are going to be like, I knew this place was trashy. So, Craig, thanks so much for coming
thank you, buddy.
iwantfireworks.com for all information. And again, there's display screens in all the different tents.
Check out their YouTube. Pyro Spot Fireworks is on there. Just search it.
So you can watch what each firework does before you buy it, which is an awesome, a thing that you provide to your customer, Craig, which I imagine that no other tents provide.
There's absolutely no scam here because you can see it before you buy it.
We sell good stuff. I want you to be able to see it. And the other thing is, like, certain areas, you really need a firework that does a specific, maybe it goes straight up and down instead of angles and stuff like that. So it's good for you to be able to see it before you bring it home in that little tiny space and try to do this monstrosity.
He's talking to you. You understand that, right? Like he's looking directly right in the eye.
So you spray your trees and ricocheting. People are running for their lives. You know what? But you give the experience. Like, not often you get to run for your life.
That's true.
Like people,
that's true.
I feel like
it's an underappreciated thing that you get to do.
It goes back to our evolution, like 100,000 years ago. We ran for our life all the time.
Let's analyze it. It's not run for your death. You live. You live. It's run for your life. You live.
Most people rarely run for their lives.
It's run for life.
We'll be right back. iwantfireworks.com.